Hello and welcome back to another strategy walkthrough for Manor Lords. I hope you all had a chance to check out the recent patch notes and my latest video showcasing the new standard approach for starting a new town after the additional updates were added to this current patch. That strategy that I shared with the emphasis on goats and shoes was named the Nike economy by several people in the comments, so I'm just going to run with that. Today we're going to create a production chain to further support our food and economy using butcher's shops. This will be somewhat of a variation of the Nike economy, but it does require a salt deposit, ideally a rich salt deposit, so that you can keep the production chain going indefinitely, and it does have some great unique potential in comparison. On top of that, for the start here, we'll also integrate a fast pop expansion into this build as well. Keep in mind that this video was originally streamed live as part of my weekly live stream series on Sundays. I hope you enjoyed the video and all the information provided along the way. Alright, so we're going to start our town. As usual, we're going to get a logging camp up. And for just the starting purposes here, we're going to put it pretty close by, just right next to our starting area here, because like I said, we'll try to get a little bit of fast pop expansion here if possible. Alright, so we're just going to get that hitching post and the logging camp, and then we're going to start building housing. And I know someone mentioned too, you can order the oxen before that second hitching post is in, which is also a good idea to save like get it going like a day or two earlier or whatever, but I'm afraid of it bugging out otherwise. Alright, cool. So I'm going to do the typical little strip of marketplace right here. That's always my kind of go-to. Alright, and then we're going to start putting some housing just right here. And we have 6 timber right now to start, so we'll put down 3 houses. That'll work. Alright, so we'll max that out. And then so we'll have 3 people on the logging and just 2 people coming to get these initial building tasks going. And once again, this is just kind of a side thing that we're like adding on here. I just kind of wanted to indulge in this fast pop strategy a little bit. Once again, since I've noticed quite a few of you talking about it. Jay Voodoo, I know you're a big fan of that one, so we're just going to keep adding houses as we have the lumber for them, as we need our initial 5 and then extra for people to move in. So there's 5 coming up right there. And we'll also probably put water well right there next to our market. And once again, we're not necessarily going for like, you know, extremo best town ever layout kind of thing, but we're mainly just focusing on the aspects that I talked about here for the expanding on the Nike economy and integrating these production chains and whatnot. All right, cool. So we have those initial houses there. We'll get one more just to start, and we'll have to keep up with adding additional housing here, of course, as we move forward, but just make sure we have one more for now. And we're going to get a water well up, and then we're going to get storehouse. And we'll go ahead and put the storehouse, yeah, like right here would be fine. Well, let me change I have the day and night cycle on. We'll turn that off just so it's not getting dark. I do love the cosmetic day and night cycle though. Side note, if you guys have not played with the cosmetic day and night cycle on, highly recommend. It's very nice aesthetics. Okay, so we should have this house coming up here. We're at the end of, we still have a couple days until we're in April. We're going to have that 6th house coming up, and we're also going to now get this storehouse rocking here. We're going to put 2 on there real quick. because we want them to gather these supplies, and then we also wanted to put some initial firewood here on the marketplace. Cool, and then we're also going to go ahead and get our granary because we don't want to lose. This is kind of the trade-off, right, with doing this strategy is with the weather coming in now, the rain and everything, we have a potential to lose, you know, some of our starting supplies, which is what I don't like. But we're, you know, if we're on like the standard settings, just the default settings, unless you're on the challenging settings, then, you know, it's a bit more forgiving in that sense and you can get away with it, so. We will put our granary. Yeah, we'll just go. The berries are like right over here. Yeah, we'll just go granary right here, I think. That'll be good. Alright, so we should notice, like, they're going to be happy because there's a water well, and then they're going to get firewood here as well. Hey, what's up, Wiwaza? And what mod am I playing? I have never used a mod for this game, and I probably never will. This is just the regular version of the game, and we are on the current version of the publicly accessible beta. On normal settings, you'll only lose ground goods on the second rain. Yeah, I gotcha. Yep. So we should be seeing, we just got in April here, we should be seeing people moving in now. There we go, see we just got a new family moving in. So we are on track with technically the fast pop growth strategy here. Let's go ahead and add a couple more houses just to stay ahead on that. They're kind of a weird angle and stuff, but not a big deal. Cool, so we are definitely on track here. At this point, now that we're good on, we don't need 2 people in the storehouse. I just wanted that as a temporary measure to make sure they put these supplies away and got the initial set of firewood on the market right there. We don't need that secondary common goods stall. We'll get rid of that. So we're doing good here, and we're going to get the granary up, make sure this bread gets stored away, and then we're going to start moving forward. We're basically on track with the fast pop strategy right now, fast pop growth strategy. So we'll just keep going with that as we expand with the rest of the components here for this town setup. So we're going to get a forager hut. So we're going to start harvesting berries over here. We're going to utilize this rich berry node to get started here for our food requirements as we start to ramp up for our economy and animal pens and the butcher's whole production chain and all that kind of stuff. And we're just making sure that we are always staying ahead on adding housing since we're on track with the fast pop growth here. And once again, basically all we did was we built the logging camp. We got that second hitching post, second ox. We built the logging camp. And then we just built houses until we had 6 of them. And then we got the water well. And then we got the storehouse. And now we've moved on to granaries up and running. We'll go ahead and staff that. We want them to grab these supplies here, and then we want them to get their stuff going onto the market as well. Might as well. Did demolishing the marketplace stall affect anything in the game, or just the cosmetics? It was just for this right here. It just basically was just affecting the cosmetics. Basically, there was nothing on the food stall or the common goods stall. There was nothing stored on it, so we didn't, it didn't really have any effect. That being said, like if we were to, for example, destroy this common goods stall and it had like firewood on it or whatever, it would just, leave the firewood on the ground, and the storehouse workers would just come and collect it and store it back regularly. So it wouldn't really have an impact either way. And I only did that just because we had temporarily put a second staff on here, and they had made a second market stall, which we didn't really. It was just kind of a temporary measure. Alright, let's go ahead and staff up that forager hut for the berries over here. We're going to start getting harvesting on that. And we're going to go ahead and get firewood rocking as well. We need to start harvesting firewood. Yeah, let's just put that right there. That's good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our perk here of the Voigtland, of the Voigtland. Honestly, I'm still not sure if I'm, probably saying it wrong, but whatever. So, if you guys have watched the walkthrough video, you should know all about this, so I won't, repeat myself too much here. But we're definitely going for this minor trade base value, export value increase. That's massive for us to get going here. And we're also benefiting from the increased capacity from the forage good deposit since we have a rich berries. Or like I said, even if you have a regular berries or a regular mushrooms or rich, whatever you have, as long as it's berries or mushrooms, it's going to be great. And it's also going to cover your second food variety type on top of the meat that we're going to be getting from the production chain with the butcher. And we also get this hunting hound. Now I'm not going to, we'll go ahead and grab this perk. I did notice there is a hunting grounds over here, and we could also benefit from the hunting, aspects and the hunting hound, benefit from that perk. I'm not gonna do that here in this one, just because I really want to highlight the power of, just using the berries and the salt for the butcher production chain and all that in particular. But of course, just know that, if you were in this case and you were like, oh, I've got berries, but I've also got rich hunting, or regular hunting, or whatever it is, then, obviously utilize the hunting camp as well. Get that hunting hound, and, you're going to have even more benefits with this setup. But I really just want to highlight here how, how viable and how powerful this is even without that. So we're just using berries right now. And we are benefiting multiple ways. Just to point out, once again, real quick, we have the bonus for the forage goods here from the perk, but then also from our environments. We have a chunk of meadow environment, which gives us pollination, which does affect the the forage, the berry deposit or whatever. And then we also have the teaming bonus as well, which is from the woodland. And we have a good amount of woodland, so the teaming bonus right here adds a chance for wild animals to produce 2 offerings instead of 1, and then for berries and mushrooms to grow 1 resource more per clump. So basically we have extra, bonuses to the berries here from the teaming affinity, from the pollination affinity, and from the Voigtland development perk. So the berry, that's why I come back to saying, if you want to do this setup, or really the Nike economy in general, as and I did mention this in the walkthrough video, definitely, if you can, try to get berries or mushrooms in that setup. That being said, I'm also not really a fan of, I hate telling people to, re-roll 1,000 times just to be able to do, a specific setup, you know what I mean? So, of course, just, do whatever works for you, of course, at the end of the day. In this case, I just wanted to kind of highlight, the maximum potential of this setup. All right, so we still have one more house available. We just got wood cutting going, so we're starting to harvest firewood. And small note here, I think a lot of you already noticed this, but there is a new option here, which I think is just checked standard, which is nice. But for the logging camp or woodcutter, anyone that harvests trees, areas that could be impacting, like a wild animal deposit or, forage good deposit or anything, there's this new feature here, which will just automatically prevent them from chopping down trees around the animal deposit or around the berry deposit or whatever it is, and it will preserve the resources there, which is really nice. So obviously we have that checked just to make sure. Like I said, I don't really care about the hunting. As a matter of fact, I might even I think I'm going to make the hunting, I'm going to relocate it just to move it out of the way, because it's just, we're not going to use it. And I'd rather the woodcutters just take all this forest area. But once again, if you were in this situation, I would definitely recommend you use the hunting camp and use that hunting benefit as well. But we're just highlighting the power of this setup in this particular case. Okay, so we're gonna continue to stay ahead on the housing. Our housing got really wacky over here with the positioning and layout of it, but it's all good. All right, we'll get a couple more houses up there. Then we're going to move on to focusing. We're going to start producing planks for our Nike economy and just for our, own building tasks and everything. And then we're going to get trading post up, and then we're really going to start moving forward on the economy aspect here. Okay, so saw pit can go right here. That's fine. Oh, Baff in the house. What's up, Baff? I'll read your comment in a sec, dude. What's going on, though? I hope you're having a good weekend, dude. Happy Sunday. Good to hear you. Good to hear from you, and I'm really glad that you're here, dude. Thank you for being here. And with that protect resource area button, we have proof that they are dumbing this game down. Oh, goodness. Yeah, actually, I don't think in medieval times that they had a protect resource area option, so I'm actually really upset because I'm losing immersion now, Greg, okay? This is unacceptable. I'm no longer in a state of medieval immersion because we're automatically protecting resource areas. Now I'm pissed. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Oh yeah. But we're off to a good start here, guys. I think we've got a very good foundation going here. We are on a very good trajectory. Oh, you're doing good. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. No developer can deny it. That's right. Yeah, that's right, Baff. I heard you've been playing Farthest Frontier. I remember you mentioning that. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm glad that, I was able to share a bit about that game too. Honestly, as I meant, it's a great game. A bit underrated, Farthest Frontier is really good. If you guys haven't checked out Farthest Frontier, I do have a few videos for it here on the channel. We've done a couple live streams too. Check out Farthest Frontier if you guys haven't. I'm in no way affiliated. I don't have any kind of sponsorship or anything. I'm literally just saying it's a cool game. It's very similar to Manor Lords in a lot of ways, but it has kind of like a grid building system, So it's a little different, like aesthetically and stuff, but really cool game. All right, cool. So what is Okay, cool. Yeah, they're getting the berries. Let's get more people on that. Alright, so we are gathering firewood, we are staying ahead on timber, and we're about to start producing planks. We're staying ahead on housing. We've gotten the max pop growth so far. We should get another family moving in a few days here. We've hit every single pop mark, population potential pop growth check mark, or I don't even know what the words I'm trying to say are, but you guys see what I'm saying. We've gotten every potential opportunity for adding more families to the town. We have made that happen, so that's good. Here in England, medieval times, we did have rules as to who could hunt in the forest. Basically, the peasants could not. Oh, interesting. I see. But who's going to hunt in the forest if not the peasants? We're going to move one of these woodcutters over to the saw pit, and we're going to start getting planks coming in. And now we're going to go ahead and get a trading post up. We'll just put this right here on the King's Road, right at the end of our... We've got our, as usual, as you guys can probably tell, as standard practice, we've got kind of our residential area coming together here, food production and marketplace distribution, and then over here we've got a bit of more resource production, trade, economy kind of section stuff coming in. So we are following our kind of standard practice of logistical efficiency and all that. Always very, very important at all times for every playthrough. We're also going to get a forester's hut going over here, so we're making sure we're replanting trees. That's very important. Make sure you're constantly replanting trees around where you're harvesting. Otherwise, you know, you're going to get very long transportation times and whatnot. But we're still in spring here. I mean, we're about to get into, we're about to be 3 months in here on this playthrough, and we've already got really good. We've got 9 families here. We've got food coming in, firewood coming in. We're about to start doing some trade. Things are looking very good so far. Let's go ahead and get the forester's hut staffed. And we're going to have them make sure they are constantly replanting this area for our firewood and timber production chains. Which also is for the saw pit as well. And we're about to get another family moving in here on June 1st, and we'll assign them to the trading post, and we'll have them start selling firewood and planks. And we're going to move forward on our Nike economy here, or the base of our Nike economy. Actually, let's upgrade our storehouse real quick before that. As I've harped on many times, make sure you guys upgrade your storehouses, even in early stages. Just basically whenever you can upgrade your storehouse is a great time to do that, because you're going to get more hand carts, more storage space, but more importantly, you get more hand carts available in the town, which is what we really want. All right, so we're going to staff that trading post. Firewood, export, and since we have our Nike economy perk going, we have a value of 2 for this export here. And we'll go ahead and get planks on here too. We want to make sure we have a surplus. I just put a 20 surplus for both of these. Obviously, we need firewood for our town, and we still need planks for, you know, building tasks and stuff like that. So we want to make sure we have a little bit of a surplus set there. Same thing here at our saw pit. We don't want to go through all of our timber. Let's make sure we have, you know, like 10 timber around in the town, just in case we need to do a couple building tasks or something. All right, we are moving forward in a lot of very good ways here. I'm also going to be thinking ahead about our horse. We're going to put a hitching post right next to the trading post. Going to get that horse ordered pretty soon here, whenever we can, and ramp up our trade profits. We need to get more housing. We have 10 days, I think, to get more housing, because we just used the last of our available housing there. So let's go ahead and get that going. We want to make sure we're staying on top of that. Yeah. Like that. I hate that these stupid stones are right here in the way. I want to get those gathered and get them out of the way here very soon. I don't want a single house, or I don't want I want 2 single houses. Yeah, some of these, some of the, I know people have kind of complained quite a bit about this too. The plot points, a little bit not so great right now. See if we can make this work somehow. I mean, I don't know why it's giving us such a hard time here. Maybe it's because we're trying to build on top of this stone and it doesn't want us to build on top of the stone. So that's probably what it is, huh? Arrgh! Let me put a house there! Alright, whatever. I'm just gonna put, I don't really want to put it up. I don't want to spend forever trying to plot out another house, but we're just gonna put a double house right here and move on. Just add a couple more over here too, why not? Alright. The Manor Lords would hunt or send their minions. In truth, they would be known for as the ruling class. Yep, yep. Live by my rules, even if I don't. Gotcha, yeah. I commented in one of your videos saying, I didn't think the trade was glitched, but we have since found out it was not working as it should. So apologies. Oh, yeah, no worries, dude. That's the thing. It's like, it's hard to know what, right? I mean, your guess is as good as mine, right? With a lot of these things, it's like, is it bugged? Is it, right? It's kind of a, you know, a bit of a mystery in a lot of ways. So, no worries at all, Bav. And as always, dude, Dude, Baff is an OG, guys. Baff knows what's up. You see him talking about anything, stamp of approval, big time. Jay Voodoo's also extremely knowledgeable too. Yeah, fight the system. That's right. But we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out one step at a time, right? Yeah, that's right, Smarties. All of a sudden I was like, I guess it must be because of the stones. I guess I don't know. I didn't feel like they were this far over, but maybe it's like the internal. I guess it doesn't show like a like a circle like this, but it probably has an internal like circle area that disallows you to build on top of it or whatever, right? Anyways, we got a more housing coming in. Ooh, hopefully this gets done here like now, because it's the 18th right now, which is the day that we want. Hurry up! All right, we might have missed that pop growth opportunity because that was on the 18th and we were like a day late on this house coming in here. But it's okay. Not the end of the world. All right. So we are starting to look. We're already making profits. We already got 90 regional wealth. Nike economy is already booming. Let's go ahead and order that horse. There we go. And we're going to start ramping up, guys. Okay, very cool. So, we're making really good progress here. We're still very early in this first year. So our next kind of like priorities here are going to be so we're going to start buying pigs. Basically, we're gonna start buying animal pens in the backyards. So let's go ahead and start adding animal pens here. So this is something we want to start spending our now that we got the money for our horse, and our trade is gonna start ramping up now. Here's the horse right now. It just arrived. So let's actually make sure it gets assigned here to the trading post. And then furthermore, I don't know if we're gonna have that same bug again, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing, which was unassign our family and then just find another family. Like these guys who are unassigned, and manually put them on the trading post, and there we go, mounting a horse. So if you guys do run into that problem, that's a pretty solid work. I don't know, it seems to work every time. When you get your horse into the town, just to make sure that your family understands that, like, there's a horse now and I need to use it, just unassign your current family, go find a house that, we found these guys unassigned, manually assign them to the trading post, and that seems to work every time to get them to realize that I need to use the horse. So now we're going to start making good profits, or better profits, and we're going to start filling in pigs, guys. So, like I said, a little variation on the Nike economy here. We're not using goats, obviously. I guess, standard version of the Nike economy would be the Nike goat economy. This is more Nike pig economy, Nike bacon economy. I don't know. You guys are going to have to come up with a cool name. The new protect resources feature is probably protecting a the surface stone. Oh, right. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. What is this symbol? Oh, shrine. All right, we got a good tooltip here. But the thing I was going to point out here, which is also kind of nice, it's always nice when you have, this is just a side note, but regarding like economy and trade in general, it's always nice if you have a region or wherever your starting location is, or wherever you put your trading post or whatever, if they have like a quick route towards the trade points, that's going to help you a lot too with them making those quick exports in bulk using the horse and stuff. So we should see our guys here going and making some good bulk trades here pretty soon. So we do have some open housing still. We're staying ahead on that. Next thing we want to do, as we're thinking about, getting towards things ramping up, and the next step is like as our pigs start, as we start to get more and more animal pens and the pigs start producing more and more of the pork, We want to get at least a couple houses upgraded to get our butcher shops implemented, and then eventually also sheep and cobbler shop, and that's all going to come together. But we need to get our church up in anticipation of fulfilling all those requirements for the second tier of housing. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that right over here. Why not? Since we have all the materials that are needed for that. And we're just going to keep ramping up here. We'll probably ramp up with a second woodcutter's lodge because we're selling firewood and we're using it. Look, we just made a bulk sale right there. So our guy, Class, just went and sold a bunch of planks and firewood, and we just made 94 regional wealth. So that's going to get us some more pigs. We're going to keep ramping up on pigs. And I'm also, something I started doing too is I leave a couple of the, because of the way that the market distribution works, they prioritize like the closest proximity houses and the first built and stuff. So I leave a couple of the like earliest built ones without any extension, because those might be the first available to upgrade to tier 2, and then we'll want to add butcher's extension or something onto these instead. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves on already adding animal pens to them. That being said, we're going to continue adding animal pens to pretty much all the other houses. For more pigs. They should know how to use the horse. In the past, they would not take one of the. Yeah, I did. So I mentioned earlier, I did see in the current the one that came out again just like 2 days ago or something, like a hotfix patch or something. I guess you can consider it. They did put a note in there about fixed traders not mounting the horses due to someone else was petting the horse. That being said, I was in my Discord last night hanging with Jay Voodoo, was doing some experimenting on the new patch, and he ran into the same issue where the villagers were not mounting, basically the same exact issue that just described or showed in the walkthrough video for the Nike economy. So I don't know if it's completely fixed yet necessarily. Should be fixed. Should TM, right? Regarding the stones, if you go to build a stone house or the storehouse, you will see if there are. Yes, gotcha. Oh, okay. I mean, that's like what's weird, because it allows us to build like other stuff if it's not like actually physically over these like rocks that are here on the ground. So I don't really know. A little confused. Oh, now it lets us place a house here. I don't know what the heck was going on with that, dude. You guys saw that, right? Am I losing my mind here? What the heck is going on? All right, whatever. I'm gonna move on. I'm moving on. All right, let's go. Let's keep up with our animal pens. Pigs. We got monies. More piggies. Just keep spending what we got on pigs right now. Let's also ramp up logging camp because we need more planks. Let's also, like I said, get another woodcutting lodge up and running. More firewood to sell. All right. Looking good, looking good. And once we get to a point where we've got a decent amount of these pigs in and stuff, the next thing we're going to start spending money on is importing livestock. But we're not quite ready for that, but we're just going to go ahead and put a livestock trading post in here just to kind of think ahead about being ready for that. Another thing that we're thinking ahead about, it's not necessarily a short-term necessity, but by the end of this year, probably over the winter time, is we'll import a little bit of iron as well and get some tools going. Do we have a... Yeah, there's no iron in our region at all. So, as I've mentioned many times, honestly, I really don't think having iron in your region is necessary to keep up with the tool demands. Having iron in your region is like super great. Iron is very valuable, but as far as like just the necessity of iron to keep up with tools, I still think even just using this bare bones Nike economy, it's still easy to just import a little bit of iron ore and just make some tools or whatever. All right, so we do have our livestock trading post up. We're going to staff up this second firewood cutter that we put in here. Profits are still rocking. We have one available. Let's just make sure we're staying ahead on housing space continually. Don't want to forget about that. Good. I'm also going to set, this is something, I think Bath mentioned this. One of you guys mentioned this. I think it might have been Bath. This is just like a precautionary measure where you just set, like, just in case, like, you forget, you know what I mean, about, like, we get to the second year or whatever and we're at it, like, the tools have been depleted and, like, we forgot to import some iron to produce our own tools or whatever. You can just kind of preemptively set an import on the tools here and set it at, like, a really low surplus or something, just in case, like, you do start running out, then you will automatically import some. Just as, like, a safety measure, just to make sure that you don't completely run out of tools, you know, in case you forget. Let's see. What's up, Rumcat? Sorry, bro. Can't carry a rider right now. I'm too busy receiving kisses and cuddles. That's right. Yeah, they're getting pets, dude. That's right. They got priorities. Does the rich salt make the pigs to sausages more preferable over goats to shoes? Yes, Mo. Yeah, Smarty. So, I mean, you could approach this still. You could be in the also in a position where you have a rich salt node and still do the Nike goat economy and just sell the salt also. Of course, the salt export price did get reduced, in the recent patch from 8 down to 4. That being said, it is still profitable for sure. So you could just like sell the salt and just do it like that and not even worry. Just do the regular Nike goat economy. But this is, I like this, it's a bit more of a unique setup. And there's some other benefits here too. So I guess that's really kind of up to you to decide. But I would recommend personally that if you have a rich salt, do this setup here. Go for pigs and then into butcher, because as you'll see pretty soon, we're gonna get some really great benefits from this too. That will be unique to the Nike goat economy. But that being said, they're both really good options, to be honest. That's why the Nike goat economy, I at this point I'm just kind of considering just like the standard startup. You know what I mean? I really think that you could apply that to basically anything, and it'll probably work decently well. In combination with anything else too. But yeah, and like that's another thing we'll get more into looking at, like I said, as the setup starts to come more together here. But to the point of what Rumcash is saying, yeah, it's like the sausages are also going to support our economy as well. So we're gonna be supporting our town with big time food production, but also economy, as these sausages do sell for 7 regional wealth each, which is the same price that shoes sell for. And that being said, we're also going to be integrating shoe production. We're gonna be selling Nikes too, but that's going to be coming from slaughtering sheep instead of getting passive hides from the goats, right? So that being said, we got a little bit different of a setup here. This one's a bit more labor intensive, a bit more steps involved and stuff, but I do think that it is a bit more profitable, long term. Has a bit more options available to it. Just a bit. The best thing about the Nike Goat economy is that it's literally just like passive. You know what I mean? Like those goats just get you everything you need without, you don't need to staff up anything really. Like they just they just do it, Nike, just do it. Yeah, so if you have rich soil, it's insane profit, yeah. Especially if you have a lot of forest in your region. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so as we kind of noted earlier with the affinities for the that are affecting our foraged goods, as well as our perk, we also have, and this is another big part of this, thank you for reminding me, this is another big part of this setup, is if you have a good chunk of woodland, so right here we have majority woodland in our environment here, in our region, right? So we have a pretty strong affinity bonus with this panage. I think someone told me it's supposed to be pronounced panage. I don't really know. But either way, yeah, we have a bonus here where the yield time is being reduced. So instead of these are not actual numbers. I'm just giving an example here. Like if pigs were giving us food every 50 days, now instead maybe they're giving us every 30 days or something. Once again, those are just numbers I'm spitting out off the top of my head for an example. Those are not actual numbers. But just to illustrate what's going on here, what kind of benefit we're getting from that environment affinity. So we have a really nice strong bonus there, and we can see if we click on any of our houses that have the pig pens, we can see that bonus right here on this icon, and it'll tell us we have a 63% effect on that, which once again I don't know exactly what, like, mathematically that it equates to, how many days are we reducing the yields by or whatever, I don't know, but anyways, we like the bonus. I don't know what kind of bonus we're getting, but it can't be bad. Okay, so let's just build a few more houses. We're just staying ahead on housing. I do kind of like to get to the point around, we're at like 15. I don't want to go too much more aggressive on pop growth here. We do want to be careful about, we don't want to over expand as we're still, you know, getting all this infrastructure set up in a lot of ways. Let's put another double house there, whatever. Double houses are not the ideal at this point, but it's okay. Unless you're doing a big backyard, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah. Early game thing, I'm gonna check. Import set to 60. Yep, absolutely. You're in the process of yeah, nothing stop you from doing both. Yeah, absolutely. Easier to focus and optimize one production chain than two. Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. Right? Yeah, I'm in agreement on that for sure. Yeah, shout out to all the black belts here. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't think it's even possible to have a black belt in Manor Lords, dude. If you do, it's like your black belt is only good for like a few days, and then you're stripped of your title again, because then we all go back to square one of knowing nothing a couple days later when they change everything again, you know. All right, let's get a stone gatherer camp right here, because we want to gather up these stones just to make sure we have them for our remaining building tasks, and then also just to get this stuff out of the way, and we can use this area to build some more houses or whatever. But we are approaching winter time, which is going to be good for us to we can take up. We won't have to staff our forager hut, and we won't have to staff our forester's hut either. So we'll have a few more labor available, and we're going to go big on winter tasks such as gathering stone. We're going to get a mine over here, start gathering salt. We're going to start doing resource gathering and stuff for the winter time, where we don't have to be working on other seasonal tasks. We can get started on that right now. Let's do a couple on stone. Cool. And our economy continues to grow. So how many do we have right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pig pens. Let's get up to about 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I want to get up to about 10 pig pens. Once again, this is not like a, you know, specific thing, like, you know, get up to 10 pig pens and then do this and then do that. You know, this is just, if you guys want to make 8 pig pens and then you feel like that's good and you want to move on to the next step, that's great. If you want to make 12 pig pens before you feel like you're ready to move on to the next step, also great. Whatever you feel like works for you. I'm just going to go with 10 here, just as a kind of a, you know, base point, and then we'll move on to the next steps of this setup, which will be to start integrating sheep. We'll start importing sheep, and start upgrading a couple of these houses. Get the butcher shop rocking. So we're getting towards the first kind of steps here of this setup. The first phase, I should say, being somewhat completed, and we're getting ready for the second phase. So we'll get these pigs coming in here. We are going through this first autumn window. We're approaching the first winter window. Our town's looking really good. We're at 16. We're about to have 17 families in the town here. I'm probably going to stop around there. Maybe we can do a couple more, like 20 max, though, is probably where I don't really want to go above 20 families right now until we're a bit more established on some other stuff. We have excess labor constantly available anyways, so I'm not really feeling like it's not really feeling like we have a need for it, We'll go up to I think that'll put us at 19, because we have 17 and then it'll be 18 and 19 family spaces available. We'll probably halt there for now. Another good thing about pigs, they eat corpses. Oh my gosh, yes, dude, that movie is amazing. I know the movie you're talking about. That is one of the best movies, dude. Oh my gosh, that is an old movie. I don't even know how old that movie is now. At least 20 years old, right? That movie's old, dude. That is a classic, though. Great movie. If you guys have never seen that movie, Snatch, highly recommend watching that movie. Oh, fantastic, legendary movie. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. That one guy, they called him the... Did they just call him governor? Or I swear they had like a name for that guy, the evil guy, and he had all the pigs, and he was like, I have a bunch of pigs because they eat all the dead bodies or whatever. Yeah, that guy was a savage. Yeah, it has its positive side. I like to learn the game. The process itself might be my favorite part. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. So the ever changing landscape of the game does, in that perspective, yeah, absolutely agree. Make sure you have lots to learn every month. Yeah, that's for sure. Hover over the icon left of the barrel to see how many pigs and goats you have. Oh, yeah, true. Thank you for that. Well, but do we get, is it 2 pigs per backyard, or how does that work? Because if we have 16 pigs, is that, because we have 8, I think we have 8 extensions, right? And we're about to go up to 10, so I guess it's 2 pigs per backyard. Because now we'll go, this is the 9th, and this is the 10th. Yeah, so now we're up to 10, and we have 20 pigs. So I guess it's 2 pigs per backyard. All right, cool. Excellent. Alrighty. Bricktop. One's the pig farmer. Excuse me. So much space and potential for me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. How you doing, Dizo, by the way? Hope you're having a good Sunday, dude. Welcome in. That is definitely accurate. All right. So let's go ahead. We have our 10 pig pens and we have some more funding available. Let's go ahead and start importing sheep, and we will get pasture space ready here. Let's put, we don't need, but we want a sheep farm. This is another thing that adds to the Nike economy here, since we have the increased trade value on minor trade items. We're also able to, once we start importing sheep, we'll also be able to sell wool for 2 regional wealth each, which at this point is the same price as yarn. So like we don't need to do anything to produce this into anything more to be able to get good price. We're just going to start selling wool also, and it's basically just passive production. We're just going to put 1 person here on the sheep farm. We're going to have a ton of wool that we're also going to start selling. So that's another good addition to the Nike economy here, once we get the sheep coming in. And let's put in these couple strips. And if you guys aren't aware, this was someone in the stream, I can't remember who it was, but someone told me about this in one of the recent streams. Instead of making like a massive, see, if we filled this whole area with plot, with a pasture space. Look, this whole thing holds 46 sheep. If we just do this little tiny strip, that holds 39. I mean, that's pretty much the same amount that it holds. And then we just do another strip right next to it. This holds another 39, you know, so it's like you can get way more usage out of the space by doing it like this. I guess this will want to fill up the rest of the, whatever. They didn't all end up being like, they kind of went small, medium, large, but it's okay. You guys see the concept there. We can fit, what, like 120 sheep here, basically, instead of like 40. Alright, so it looks like we are all done with berries for the season. We'll go ahead and take them off of there. We are we're moving ahead on importing sheep. We have 10 pig pens. As we can see, we're starting to get little bits of pork coming in here. We have a couple pork that'll start to slowly come into the town. We have a good supply of berries though, so that'll get us over the hump here into the second year. But as we can see, this will give you guys a reference for what I was talking about. So since we, like I said, try to prioritize getting either a mushroom or a berry deposit in your region here. So since we harvested those here to start out, we have a strong supply of the forage goods. And now that our pig pens are starting to kick in, you can see a few of these houses are now registering like we have everything that we need to level up. We have the meat category because we're getting the pork from those pig pens. We have the forage goods category because we have the berries or mushrooms. We have firewood, we have the church, and we have water. So this guy's ready to level up. And this is one of the houses that we left empty and ready to put a butcher shop or whatever in. So perfect. We're going to go ahead and level up this house. And there we go. We are ready to start initiating the second phase here pretty soon. That being said, we are approaching winter here, and once again, we want to move ahead on our winter task. We're going to go heavy on salt gathering. So we're going to get our mining pit here, and we're going to gather a ton of salt throughout the winter as we are importing sheep, as we are continue to ramp up on the pork that's being produced and all this. And this setup now is going to start getting into the second phase here, and you're going to start seeing the true power of this setup here, guys. Bricktop. That was his name. Oh my gosh, yes. Ah, dude, and he had that like I don't know what you're from England, right? What's his like dialect? Is that like or like what? Because it's all very regional, right? He had like that specific kind of like I guess I feel like it's more of kind of like more of like the working class kind of accent or whatever. He had like that specific kind of accent, dude. That guy, man, it's so good. For this build, throwing excess pop into forest huts to blanket forest the region and increase terrain synergy for pigs. Yeah, absolutely, J Voodoo. That's another really great call. Yeah, totally. We did have the one forest hut going, but yeah, we'll definitely do that more moving forward. Like coming into the extra, into the coming years. We're about to be in winter here, so we won't be able to do more forestation. But that is a really good call, really good piece of advice. So we can also, during the winter years here, just build some forest huts in some various areas around the outskirts of the town. And like you said, that will also give us more woodland environment area, which will boost our panage or panage bonus, or however you say it as well, for the pigs. So really, really good idea there from J Voodoo. That is the tech. We're going to do that too. One of the most important things is different food types. Yeah, chickens are good for eggs unless they change that. You get 1 egg per month, yeah. And then you also get chicken. We actually get chicken from chickens now too, right? On top of the eggs. Salt is good for winter. Yep. It was a London Cockney. That's what it is. Cockney accent. That's the word I was trying to think of. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's such a like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a distinct accent. You know what I mean? That's so cool. All right. Were they all Cockney? Well, not the dude. Wait, well, what was Brad Pitt's character was like a they were like some kind of gypsy faction or whatever, right? So I don't even know if that was like, I don't know if that was like an actual representation of a real, you know, dialect or something. But his accent was crazy, dude. He sounded like he was just speaking, you know, Looney Tunes basically the whole time. Definitely as an American, it's like, what? You know, you don't even understand what he's saying at all. It's hilarious, though. Love it. We're going to max out our salt mining pit here. We're going to get going on salt. Big time salt gains. Let's also staff up we're starting to get a few sheep coming in. We'll just get the sheep farm staffed up preemptively. Why not? Great. So yeah, right now, there is, I mean, we could even, what else do we have in the region? Oh, there's like clay that's like way over here. I mean, I guess we could do some like long distance clay mining as well, but like I said, I'm not really going to focus on like the side like resources and stuff like that. We're really just focused on this production chain and showing the power of this kind of by itself. So we do have some extra. I mean, we could put a second salt deposit here, but I'm not too like. We'll be fine how this is. All right, so I do want to, instead of just spending the increased price on just the straight up tools, I would like to just import some actual iron. Let's just do like 5 iron. And then we'll also get bloomery. And this doesn't really need to go anywhere in particular. Let's go bloomery and smithy. And that way we have our own production potential for tools as we just import little bits of iron. And we'll just kind of zoom through the winter here because there's not too much going on. We're going to get salt mined up here. We have sheep being imported into the town. We have 3 people on the livestock trading post, basically spending all the profits as we have them coming in, just bringing in more sheep. Our 10 pig pens are, see, they're working. You know, it's not like we have tons of pork. If we look at the total, we have 8 pork, you know, so we have, looks like it's starting to kick in where we have like a little bit, just enough to kind of keep the houses supplied. As we can see, a lot of these houses do have, you know, both of these requirements covered between the berries and the meat. As we can see, they're, you know, ready to level up. We're not going to aggressively level up houses unnecessarily. We have the one ready to go for a butcher shop once we're ready to engage that. We want to get a little bit of salt built up here over the winter, and our pork will kick in a bit more. And then actually, I think we're fine. Actually, let's just go ahead and W key on that. So we're gonna go butcher's workshop. There we go, and we're gonna start moving into the second phase here. Or the first half of the second phase, I guess, which is starting to produce the sausages from the butcher's shop. And then the second half, or this phase, or the third phase, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be then expanding with the sheep into either another butcher shop, or have this butcher shop do both tasks or whatever, and then have a cobbler shop. So we'll do slaughtering of the sheep, and then also start producing shoes as well. So we're going to be selling sausages. We're going to be selling sausages and shoes for 7 reasonable wealth each. And then we're still selling planks for 2, firewood for 2, and wool for 2. Not yet, but we will be selling wool for 2 very soon. And we'll probably, at that point, we can probably maybe, like, we can stop selling planks, for example, or maybe stop, you know, we can stop selling maybe a couple of our lower profitable items that we can start using for something else, for example, once we get to that point. But things are starting to come together here. Looks like we did import a bit of iron as well. Let's go ahead and let's just get bloomery and smithy staffs. We'll just make a bit of tools with that iron that we imported. And so here's our butcher shop. We do not want them to be slaughtering anything right now, that's for sure. So we're going to put them on sausages. And here we go. we'll start to see. Now, this is a 2-to-1 ratio. This is what's really good here. This is the whole benefit right here, guys. We're getting, we put in 1 food, and we get 2 food back, basically, right? And so we have to give it a salt in addition with the pork, with the food. But essentially what we're doing here is turning 1 food into 2 food. And pork has a value of 4 regional wealth export, and salt has a regional wealth export value of 4 as well. So if you sold the salt and the pork on their own, you'd be getting 8 total regional wealth for selling 1 salt and 1 pork. Now the sausages turn into 7 regional wealth, right? So instead of 1 salt and 1 pork for a total of 8 regional wealth, now you have 2 sausages for a total of 14 regional wealth, right? And not necessarily to say that like we're only producing the sausages for profit, but we'll be producing so many of them, especially as we continue to ramp up this setup here, that we'll have more than enough for our food supply and for trade export. So we'll be keeping an eye on here on what that's looking like. Looks like, unfortunately, the I really dislike that, like, you know, we put the butcher shop in and it like sets it to slaughtering automatically, and like they went and slaughtered a few sheep, like, you know what I mean, before we. That's. I really dislike that, but anyways, it's not the end of the world. Sorry, I am falling behind on some of your comments here. Let me catch up on that. Short on housing? No. I like I said, I halted housing building purposely. I'm not. Yeah, I'm personally not really a fan or an advocate of like expanding your town unnecessarily. Like I'm at the point where I'm feeling like, what's the point of adding more people to the town until I get more established? You know what I mean? I'm just gonna have more labor sitting around. You know, more mouths to feed, etc. That being said, we can add more housing at any point, and we'll be getting, you know, our approval is at 75%, so we'll be, you know, we'll be getting people moving in, no problem, if we do need it. But I'm not. Nah, we can add an expansion here to this house. Why not? But yeah, I'm really not of the opinion that'll get us a 20th family. Yeah, I'm really not of the opinion that it's like necessary. I mean, I think it's cool to like get the fast pop growth like in the very beginning, just so you can, I don't know, get your task going that much faster, I guess. But I do definitely believe that there's going to be a point where you should stop expanding your town population wise and focus more on infrastructure and other things like that. That being said, once again, it's a single player game, and you know, if you get enjoyment out of just constantly continuing to grow your town to the maximum size continuously, maybe it's like a challenge too of like, you know, how fast can I grow to the maximum town settlement level kind of thing. That's also really cool. That's a really cool approach and a totally viable strategy. But yeah, I halted. I usually kind of get around 20 families, and for me, that's like a, you know, my towns I feel are pretty good size and efficiency and everything around 20 families, and then you know, once I get like to this Nike butcher economy being like completely set up, then I'll probably start expanding more houses. But that's just my approach personally. Well, most for letters. Cockney's gonna, which is a church in the area of okay. Yeah, Cockney's a really niche accent. Very popular in Hollywood. Yeah, true. Right, I figured it was more just like for the movies kind of thing or whatever. But dude, it's such an iconic accent, right? That movie's so good. That's so funny that you brought that up. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I'm probably gonna watch that again now. The gal working in the betting shop had a great London accent. Okay. In the betting shop. Oh my gosh. God, it's been a while since I've watched that movie, dude. I don't know if I remember that scene. Yeah, I'll have to watch it again. Make sure to immediately switch Booker to sausages. Yeah. Wish I read that earlier. Sorry. You had a weird bug. Yeah, no clip. What's up? You had a weird bug where your Armistice family were stuck waiting in their house, freezing and unable to collect fuel. Any way to fix that besides demolishing and rebuilding? That's a good question. So you had an Armored Smith family were stuck waiting in their house, freezing and unable to collect fuel. That's a good question. Honestly, I don't really have an answer other than I would imagine that demolishing the house and rebuilding it would fix it. Otherwise, I would suggest just save, quit, and then reload. That sometimes can also fix, like pathing issues or like buggy, like if just people are like stuck on a task and they can't figure out how to move on to the next task or whatever. Oftentimes, if you just save, quit, and reload, that can fix those kind of issues too, potentially. That's also a decent suggestion too. Like Jay Voodoo said, maybe you could put them in a militia and then rally the militia, and then maybe that'll like force them to get out of the house, yeah, and reset. That's not a bad idea too. Oh my gosh, you had two traders crash on the Kings Road and they sat there for over 7 years? Holy dude, that is insane. We had a multiple horse carriage pile up on the Kings Road, huh? Oh my gosh. Gonna have to get the medieval news anchor out there and get the scoop. Better make sure that the tooltip is correct and actually makes 2 sausages and not 1. Now that is also a very good point. We should definitely keep an eye on that. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, are you guys actually making sausages or what? What's going on? Oh, they're sick. Okay, our butchers are sick, so they're not doing anything right now. Yeah, I forgot. Let's add a herb garden here onto our forager hut so we can help them not be sick. I was like, why are they not producing sausages? They're sick. Well, I guess too. That's another no clippy. I don't know if I assume you checked that, but if your family's, if you saw that they have the red thing right there and they're sick, then your family's not going to do. They're going to stay home in that regard. But I assume that's not the case. That they're not sick and it's just like bugged out. All right, now they should be making. We're going to start seeing them make sausages now. They're not sick anymore. Yeah, they need to get out. They need to get out more. Our peasants need to get out more, dude. More pig pens. Yeah, that's right. We will keep adding more pig pens, but right now we're spending our money on importing sheep. We want to ramp up the sheep. I'm upset that we slaughtered. I think we slaughtered like 5 sheep or so that we didn't want to. I'm a little, butthurt about that, but it's okay. I guess maybe we only slaughtered like 3. It's okay. More cowbell! That's right. What's up, Charlie? The rich resources in this build, we have rich salt and rich berries. Rich salt and rich berries. If you want to do this setup on your own, you basically need a rich salt, and I highly recommend for this for the food you need to have it. Well, you don't need to, but I highly recommend getting berries or mushrooms. They don't need to be rich. You can have a regular berries or a regular mushrooms, but definitely recommend at least one of those options. And the reason you can get away with only having regular, like we mentioned in the walkthrough video for the Nike economy, the new town startup video, if you haven't watched that, highly recommend. So I'm not going to repeat myself too much here. But we are getting the bonus from this from our Nike economy perk, which is gives increased forage capacity to the berries or mushrooms, which is why even if you have just a regular berries or mushrooms deposit, that will also suffice. And then on top of that, we have the hopefully you'll also have a decent amount of like a woodland affinity, for example, because we're using the pig bonus. Then you'll also have the teaming bonus, which also affects your forage goods as well. So multiple bonuses there is why I recommend using mushrooms or berries, making sure you have mushrooms or berries. But rich salt is pretty much a necessity for this build. At least if you want it to be self-sustaining, which I think is pretty much necessary, to be honest. All right, we're starting to see some sausages being produced now, thank God. We should see that ramp up. So over time here, we'll keep an eye on that. We should see the sausages are just going to exponentially grow and grow to the point where like we're going to have so many, we're just going to be selling them. What else? Yeah, we're making a bit of oh, wait, hopefully they'll be making a few tools here pretty soon or whatever. But anyways, we're back into spring, obviously. So it's time to get back to some of our seasonal tasks. So we can reduce here. We don't need everyone on salt. We just need to make, we're not like selling salt. You could also, right? Like you could, as I mentioned, like as well, you could also like add to this setup and be like, you know, since I have the rich salt node and I'm like gathering so much salt, I could also just like sell salt as well. You know what I mean? Once again, I'm just going to stick to like just the kind of bare bone like necessities of this build, just to show you the true potential and power of just the base of this build. But you could also be like, yeah, I'm just going to sell salt also. You know what I mean? Because you have so much of it. But we're not going to do that here. We'll go ahead and get our forager, a couple people in there again. Forester hut. We're like we have so many planks and timbers. I mean, that's fine. Let's have our foresters huts, planting stuff. Build a few more houses. Why not? Appease the masses. And now it doesn't let us build here again. Dude, what is going on? Am I losing my mind or what? What is happening? What is going on with those plot points over there, dude? I don't know why they're not. Why are we waiting forever to turn this iron into iron slabs and make the tools? I haven't seen that make any progress. Oh, there we go. Looks like they're finally moving the iron. Transporting. There we go. Yeah, it takes forever. I know when we were in the Discord yesterday, and I was like chilling with Voodoo or whatever, and we were chatting about a couple things, and we were looking into. See, that proves the point. Your production workers, like this guy at the bloomery, these people cannot just go to the trading post and get the iron or whatever they need from the trading post. They need it to go to the storage, and then they need to get it from the storage, and it's like a whole thing. So that's where we see delays in the system and the production chain in that regard. But we're fine on like tools and stuff or whatever right now. We have 7 more tools lying around, so not gonna worry about more labor on that for the moment. I'm gonna catch up with you guys' comments here in a sec. See a bunch rolling in that we haven't responded to. We took our hides that we were sitting on from our few sheep that we butchered early on. No. All right, we're also going to get wool coming in. See, we're starting to get wool now that we're out of winter and we have some decent sheep here. We can see the sausages are going to just start keep ramping and ramping and ramping. So things are coming together here. We'll also start selling wool. Like I said, we don't need wool really for anything. So we're just going to sell. We don't need any excess wool. So just sell all wool. All right. I will check out your guys' comments here. Jeez, you guys are going crazy. Can you post a picture? How to build a bypass around them? Yes. I don't know how does it, I don't know if, honestly, I have no idea how YouTube chat works. Are you allowed to post pictures in the YouTube chat? Oh, did we turn the day and night cycle back on? Oh, I guess we did, huh? I forgot. Yeah, I don't know how the YouTube chat works. If you want, you can always post a picture in the Discord. You love how you love how the butchers got magically healed by the very idea of a herb garden. I know. I think that was just like convenient timing, but yeah, it did. It did feel like they magically got healed by the herb garden that we built. I think they should add more stuff for diseases stuff like hospitals or doctor. Um, yeah, I hear you. That's something that's a little more prevalent in like farthest frontier, for example. They have more like diseases. They have like a medical hospital building or whatever. Yeah, I could see them expanding more on the on that in this game as well. What's up, Ponus? What's the point of this strip sheep pastures? Uh, in case you missed it earlier, it's just way better use of the space. So here's a quick example for you. If we make like a big square right here, and say I want to put a pasture space that encompasses this square. So that right here we can see that gives us a pasture space of 46, right? So instead, what if we go ahead and just make a little strip right here? That gives us a pasture space of 35. And then if we put another space right, another strip right next to that, another 36. Another strip right next to that, another 37. Another strip right next to that, another 37. So all of a sudden we've got, I don't know, 150 pasture space right here. If we do strips, we get like 150 pasture space versus if we just build the regular square, we only get 46. So we're getting like 3 times the efficiency of space usage from using the strips of the pastures there. And that's something that someone in the chat told me during a live stream in the recent past. So shout out to you guys, whoever that was. Can't remember who it was, but yeah, big time. Big tech right there. What's up, Chill Pill? About to close? No, no, no. We're not about to close. We're rocking and rolling here, dude. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good weekend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You definitely like these smaller builds. Yeah, you need to make critical choices that a larger build seems to roll right past. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Return to a resource chase game, Smarties. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's for me. It's just all about only expanding to the point that you're ready for. You know what I mean? Don't over expand. Like if you don't if you don't have all the infrastructure for big food production chains and big economy and all that kind of set up, and you start expanding too fast, like that could hinder you. All of a sudden you're like, oh, geez, like I'm behind on food production, and then it becomes a domino effect. So I'm definitely a bigger advocate for more sustainable pop growth. Keep the sausages out of the market. Well, no. I do want to make sure we are still supplying sausages to the market as well because we want to fulfill our meat requirement. I mean, it's not a huge deal because we're not like desperate for approval or anything. But all the pork. The only thing that we have for meat right now is the sausages. So we do want it to be on the market as well. I mean, you could make the decision to not supply the market with the sausages and literally just sell them. But for now, let's go ahead and halt on the sheep importing. We have about 26 sheep right now. We'll just let them start like passively reproducing, and we'll add a few more. We'll get to some more goats here and ramp up that pork production for our sausages to really start booming. Let's see, foresters' huts are going. Everything is rocking and rolling right now. We're starting to sell wool now too. Got tools on hand still for a little bit. Sheep are going to start reproducing. We still want to import more sheep too, but I think let's now that we have like a decent amount of sheep, I usually try to get around like 30 or so to start. Let them start reproducing for a bit, and then now we'll focus a little bit more back on ramping up our sausage production again. And then, as we can see, though, it is slowly gaining. We'll just see the sausage number just like go up, 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 to the point where we will just have excess in general that we'll just sell. Let's see. if you happen to have rich stone in your region, it's by far the best thing to sell. Yes, yep, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that, Rumcast. Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, like as far as like a single resource deposit trade potential, yeah, I think a rich stone at this point is just like the highest ceiling for economy potential. Yeah. What's up, Renshira? You're late. Oh no, you're late. That's been noted. All right, that's been noted. Now, welcome and hope you're having a good weekend. Yeah, we're still going. We're going strong here for a bit. We are not ending anytime soon. Yeah. The new meta is selling dressed stone as it sells for 7. Yep. I wouldn't say that's the new meta, but it's one of the new metas. Yep. That's right. Not letting me go anytime soon. What's my favorite map to play? That's a good question. I still really love High Peaks. High Peaks, I think, is still my favorite map. Right now, we are on the Divided map. What I like about this map, in particular, and the reason I chose this map for this playthrough, and the reason I will choose this map in general a lot of the time, to be honest, is because of the regional layout. So if we look at the map overall here, you can see these regions are kind of like long and skinny. And what that does is it makes it a higher chance for the resources to be, so like we have these resources that are like right next to our town. There was a hunting deposit that was right here as well, which I purposefully migrated so it went like super far away. But basically in these regions that are made like this, you're always going to have like at least 3 resources that are like extremely close proximity to your town center. So I like this region or this like map for that reason. But in general, I still love the High Peaks map. Probably still my favorite map. There's the best aesthetics. I love the cliffs and the mountainsides, and has really cool, tons of really cool spots for, you know, putting like forts and castles or whatever. Strategic military placements and stuff. I think that was still my favorite like run that I've done so far, is the speed run on High Peaks. That's still the best in my opinion. Yeah, sometimes the plot points are merged in the road. Yes, I think that is what's going on when you try to. Yeah, right. Yep. But then I was like, then other times it was like it was working. I don't know. I was just being dumb. Someone in the forum was telling about this bug. Yeah, with plotting home. Yes, I've definitely seen people bring that up. You're sad because you missed a few tips, Renshira? No, don't be sad. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to answer. There's plenty more tips to come. Oh, yeah, I guess you could upload an image and then post the link, yeah. Or you could post in the Discord and then I can screen share it or something, I don't know. You like the river map, too. The river map's really good, too. I like the Winding River. The Winding River has great... What I really like about the Winding River, and it's kind of in contrast to this one, where this one has, like, more of the skinny regions, you know what I mean? What's really great about the Winding River is the opposite, is that you have these really large, widespread regions, and you have, like, big areas of, like, flat open land. That's really nice with the Winding River, because you have big potential for, you know, whether that's like a big farming setup or you have lots of big orchards and vegetable backyard gardens or whatever it is. You just have like plenty of space, plenty of flat ground space to do that, which is really nice in the Winding River map. I love that one too. Yeah. Chill pill. You tried Devil's Hill? Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of like steep cliff sides and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's right. Chill Pill was the one who told me about the strips of the pasture. Yeah, shout out Chill Pill. That's right, baby. Thank you, dude. Oh, feel free to post, Beth. Yeah. No, feel free to post, dude. Absolutely. Shout out to Sun Guy last night for... Yes. That's right. Yep, Sun God in the... Yeah, he was cool. Yeah. Stayed up way too late chatting with him about the bureaucracy of Manor Lords. You love Lakeland, yeah. The lake map is also really cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. All those ones that have like the nice water features are just obviously like just very aesthetically pleasing. You can't go wrong. You've had loads of fun on the large hill. Oh yeah, the Devil's Hill one. Yeah, that one's all like it. Like they were saying, Ponus was saying, it is tough in the regards of like sometimes you can run into like being restricted on if you have too many like hillside areas, it makes it hard to build, but or expand. But it is a cool map. You know what I mean? Uh, cool like strategic opportunities and stuff. Yeah, heck yeah, Chill Pal, you're the man. Oh, your sun god. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was you. Okay, yeah. What's up? Discord. Yeah, I got you here. Sorry. Um. Invite to server. Copy link. There you go. Is the ox leg fish, by the way? Yeah, supposedly they fixed that, yeah. Supposedly they fixed that. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying Farthest Frontier, too. Baff said he was enjoying it as well. I'm glad to hear that you guys have been enjoying Farthest Frontier. We all love Manor Lords, and obviously, Manor Lords will continue to be kind of, a lot of the main content here on my channel and stuff, but Farthest Frontier is such a good game, very underrated, so I'm really glad to hear that you guys have been getting into that game, and hopefully I was able to help influence a little bit of that, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. I really love to hear that. Great game. Yeah, let's get or let's just upgrade this, I guess, to a stable. We'll order. I think we can go ahead and order another horse and do another trading family because we have a lot more trade goods coming in. We have a lot more that we can start selling. Sausages are going to continue to ramp up. We'll continue selling those. Let's get pigs in these backyard extensions that we added. Yeah. You need an advice. Oh, that's also true, Jay Voodoo. Yeah, the having the bridges and like the choke points for military engagements on the river map is also a really, really like nice advantage and a cool thing to have. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Aseo? You need an advice when you build single and double burgage plots. Yeah, so I would kind of generally rule of thumb recommend single plot building homes, building single plot homes now in general. I would pretty much only recommend doing a double housing plot if you need it for the backyard extension, aka, if you have a large orchard or veggie garden in the backyard where you need the maximum amount of families to work the plot. Otherwise, I recommend single plot housing only, in general. Excuse me. Once again, it's fine if you want to do double plot housing. That's totally fine too. It's mainly for like just from like a min max perspective. They adjusted the like taxation of previous versions of the game, like the monthly taxation from leveled up, level 2 or level 3 housing, where you get monthly regional wealth taxation from the houses. Previously, it was per family. So if you had a double house, you would get, and you had two families living at the house, you would get double tax, but now it's per household. So if you have a double house and you have two families in the house, you're still only going to get one tax, basically, right? So it's really not worth it to have double family homes. There are some arguments to be made for double housing, double plot housing still being good in certain situations if you need to conserve, space. There was a couple other points that people brought up in the comments too recently. I know this has been a topic of discussion in the comments on a few of the videos, so I'm probably missing a couple of the points too, but That's the main thing for me, is that they changed the taxation and the consumption rates. Used to be like per family in the household or whatever, vice versa. Now it's the opposite. So you don't really get any like benefit necessarily out of the double plot housing in that regard. What you hate about riding a river is that half the map is considered high elevation. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the high elevation areas. High elevation areas are just not great in general. It's like you need to take like development perks for it specifically, which I don't really like, you know. While we're just kind of chilling here for a sec, we're also going to build a manor. Just why not? All right. Picture not posted. Okay, gotcha. Two steep areas bugged now. Kind of ridiculous. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. You're here under a different idea. I got you. Let me pull this up. Let's take a look here. Okay, so what are we looking at here, Beth? Oh, that's the traffic jam? Is that what we're talking about? You always go for doubles. Looking at the two trays at bottom left, how many level 3 families I have? Yeah, I gotcha. That's what's, yeah, so that's the traffic jam. And yeah, okay. Nice. Yeah, I see it. Alright, that's what's up. Well, not that's what's up with the traffic jam, but good to see the other stuff. Yeah, you learned about farthest frontier because of me only. That's good. I'm glad. I'm really glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that. Yeah. You build maybe 6 large double plots now. Rest are small singles. Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Build some doubles for your veggies and fruits, and then the rest singles. Yeah, for sure. How is the 8048 beta better than earlier? Oh, no worries, dude. No worries at all. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, this one, I mean, like this 048 or whatever that came out on Friday or something, it's just basically like the same. It's just like a little couple hot fixes, I think, pretty much. Not much difference here compared to what it was. One of the main differences that I don't want to go too far into right now, because as I've mentioned in the walkthrough video and the Nike economy and stuff, and just, you know, mentioned a few times in general, fertility is going to be really good now, and farming setups in general. I'm going to have like a walkthrough setup video for that coming pretty soon. Probably once they actually release the patch out of beta, which once again, hopefully should be coming soon. I did hear, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I did hear Darren, who's one of the developers of Manor Lords. I was watching him stream on his personal YouTube channel the other day, not representing Manor Lords, not representing anything official, but he said, in his own opinion, he thinks that that they're close to having the patch done within this next upcoming week. Once again, that's nothing official at all. It's just what he said as like his own personal opinion in his personal stream on his personal YouTube channel. That being said, he is one of the developers on the game, so I don't know I don't know if he's just saying that or if it's just completely inaccurate or what, but like if that is accurate, then apparently we're looking at about within a week for this patch to actually come out of beta. That being said, back to my original point, which is talking about changes, notable changes to the 0.48 based in comparison to like all the other changes that already happened. One of the biggest things that I noticed is that they changed honey and wax both to minor trade items. And as we can see here, we have the perk, the Nike economy perk, where we're getting 50% increased value on minor trade items. As we can see here, wax sells for 9 regional wealth each. Pretty crazy, right? And honey sells for 6 regional wealth each. So I am thinking that a setup with, you know, a farming setup where you also include the apiaries for the pollination bonus to also increase your crop yields. You sell wheat bread for buku profits, as we've already reviewed in the bread guide. And then you'll also sell honey and wax. And then you'll, of course, also be producing barley and flax or whatever for clothing and ale and all kinds of other stuff too. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits that look like will be available here with this farming setup. Now, of course, the perk that we have right now does reduce farming efficiency. This one that we have right now, which gives us the increase on the minor trade value, but it does reduce farming efficiency, which sucks, of course. But I don't know, it might still be worth it. Like these trade values, now that they put the honey and the wax into the minor trade category, might still be worth it to farm with the 25% reduction just to be able to sell tons of honey and wax. That being said, you don't need to have farming to be able to put in apiaries and sell honey and wax. You could do this regardless. We could do that right now. But what I'm really interested in is the combination, the synergy between the systems with the pollination, where you're going to get the added bonus to the crop fields as well. And, you know, selling tons of wheat bread as well is also going to be insanely profitable. So that's kind of one of the builds that I've been brainstorming here. But I am definitely very wary of them continuously changing all of these trade items, and I don't want to do that. So I don't want to present this setup to you guys and then 2 days later they're like, oh, the patch is out and we decided to revert honey and wax back to major trade items. You know what I mean? So forget about everything you just learned, you know. So I don't want to do that. But assuming this kind of stays how it is and the patch comes out like that or whatever, I'll probably be making a walkthrough setup guide for that approach as well, which I think will be very powerful. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Chill Pill. Yeah, you like to do the double. Like I said, whatever works for you guys. You know what I mean? Single player game, right? So, you know, if you feel like the doubles work for you guys, that's awesome. That's very much viable. So highly encourage you continue working with whatever is good for you. Let's take stock here of okay, so check it out, guys. Now we're starting to see, right? We're starting to see sausages like really ramping up. We have a total of 61 sausages around right now, and they're just continuing to grow and grow and grow. So now we're gonna go ahead and sell. So sausage right here, get this trade route, export, and let's just keep like a surplus of like 20 sausages in the town or something like that. And we'll just start selling the excess. So we're going to start making even more more profits from the sausages. So now we're selling, all these are a value of 2. We're selling planks for 2, wool for 2, and firewood for 2. All of which, these are all extremely easy to produce. And then now we're moving on to the next phase where we're selling these sausages for 7. So now we're going to start getting really good profits. And soon, as our sheep are continuing to reproduce, and then maybe we get more money and we can just manually import more sheep to speed up the process or whatever, then we'll also upgrade another house and get ready to put our cobbler shop in, and then we'll start selling those Nikes, baby, and then we'll be selling shoes for 7, sausages for 7, and then a bunch of those other minor trades for 2 each or whatever as well, and we're going to be making very good profits then. I think our manor got built. Oh, it's almost done. Under construction, so that's about done while we've been yapping over here. We made a few more tools in the meantime. That's cool. Got plenty of timber and planks. Tools are ahead. Sausages are ramping up. Plenty of berries. Firewood's fine because we've got two firewood cutters still rocking. Wool is just passively coming in and we're just selling it. Salt is keeping up. We just have our we tripled up during the winter, and then we've just left one family working the salt mine since then, keeping up with the demand for our butcher shop to continuously make the sausages. And we're not into any commodities yet, but shoes will be coming soon. TM, like I said, those Nikes will be coming soon. And yeah, all good things. We could also, at this point too, since we're starting to introduce like more profitable items and just more items in general into our trade, what we can do is just, yeah, no, actually, never mind. I was going to say we can stop selling planks and sell war bows instead, but there's actually no point because the planks sell for the same price as the war bows, so literally no point. We just keep selling planks. Good enough for me. And of course, we'll keep an eye on, you know, we can see here since we've been selling a ton of planks, like, you know, the market supply is starting to go down or whatever. So if we see these go down too far and the prices reduce or whatever, then we will stop selling temporarily. Yeah, that's a good point too. That's the point. I remember you mentioning that about the tavern to serve the housing. Yeah, that's not a bad point too. Yeah. But then I guess as Baff said, it's like not really much problem with the tavern serving the families anyways, right? The lands are stricken by a drought. Oh no. We're in a drought. All right, so look at, guys, look at this. All of a sudden, we just started selling sausages, and look at this, guys. All of a sudden, we're rich, right? I mean, look. All of a sudden, we're raking it in now. So basically, we're spending a majority of our money here on sheep. We spent a bit on iron, you know, for the tools or whatever. But yeah, we spent a chunk on sheep. But otherwise, we're steadily just making profit. And now that we're selling those sausages, now we're getting rich. So we want to think ahead about, okay, we have raiders coming soon, so we want to maybe tax some and get some treasury wealth ready for incoming bands of raiders. We'll put like a small tax just to start out here. I'll go ahead and do just like 4%. We can go ahead and staff our livestock trading post again and maybe just start manually importing more sheep to speed up that process since we have more money. Because we want to start making those Nikes, you know what I mean? And then we're going to just be making more and more profit as we continue on. We can also add more pigs. We can pretty much just max out everything now at this point. We can upgrade this one for another butcher shop. Probably we'll have one rolling on sausages and then one rolling on slaughtering. So now we are really starting to ramp up here. Things are really coming together. And we did get that. We got 2 horses now. Right? Yeah, we got Michael and Simon. We got 2 horses here. Oh yeah, actually, I forgot that we can, I think, can you? Oh yeah, that's right. We can rename the, all right, who wants to be a butcher? Who's a butcher? Okay, Bath is definitely... Oh wait, no, Chill Pill. No, you're not the wife. We can't put Chill Pill as the wife. That's messed up. I don't know, Alan or something. All right, who's the son? I'll be Bath's son. There we go. And then the cobbler, Dude, who's gonna be the cobbler? Who wants to be the cobbler? Chill Pill the cobbler? More pigs. If you guys want to be someone in the town, let me know. We'll slot you guys in. Yeah, first beta was a disaster. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Looking through church, but oh yeah, that was from the screenshot. Building double plots costs exactly the same amount of money, and workforce is single. So unless cramming as much housing into little space is a concern, there's still no reason. Yeah, pretty much. Like there's really very little to no advantages basically at this point, but you know it's really whatever works for you. Tried 3 times and made it third time. Bumped into every difficult slider to the max. Instead, starting supplies. Okay. 3 IAs and Baron. Fun as hell. Satisfying when you win in the end. You'll never do it again. Jeez. That sounds like quite the challenge, though, DZO. Wow. Props, dude. That's what's up. That sounds like a really quite the challenge. I like that. I love that. Very cool. Okay. So everything up to max other than starting supplies. Okay, nice. That's what's up. Yeah, see, Baff's a veteran. He's a beast, so he's got to up the challenge. I feel ya. Yeah, that's what's up, Chill. Yeah, good. Like I said, I'm really glad to hear that you're enjoying Farthest Frontier. That makes me happy. Yeah, the honey yield sucks in the initial beta at least. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I haven't tested it enough to like really, you know, present it as like a full informative walkthrough or whatever for you guys, but it's just as I'm looking through all that, I'm kind of thinking that that will be a strong setup, you know what I mean? But I think it will rely a lot on the I don't know, like the synergy with the pollination and stuff. We'll have to see how that works. So, refresh the chat here. There we go. There we go. Check the consumption rate after a year for sausages min-max. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, we want to verify too that we're actually we're actually getting the rates that we're supposed to. So let's see, food, the past 12 months, production, pork. So, yeah, I mean, that's not double, is it? We don't like that. Here, let's see. Let's keep an eye on that here real quick. Yeah, the records tab is nice. Yeah, I want to keep an eye on this here real quick. Get confused about the surplus thing. Set 20, will it keep required plus 20? Or will it keep 20 and everything over 20 will be sold? No, so it keeps required plus 20. Yeah. And an easy way to tell is up here. This is the easiest way to tell. So if you're setting something to a surplus of like sell once you have a surplus of 20 plus, if you have this one right here currently showing surplus goods, this will tell you, right? So if we're selling if we have more than 20 plus sausages, right here we can see we have 37. That means we'll be selling 17 of them because we have 20 surplus and then 17 after that. If we go show total goods, then it shows we have 57 sausages. So we can't really tell in that regard, but if we switch it to this one showing the surplus, then that's going to give us an accurate representation of if we set a 20 surplus, whatever we see here, that is the number. So We see 20 on here. That means we've reached that threshold, and then anything beyond that is what we're going to sell. One thing you started going, you disabled firewood in every storehouse, so people only consume charcoal. Why is that? You mean like to sell more firewood, you mean? Yeah, that's another good point too, Jay Voodoo. I did notice before I had a trade item with when using this of the Nike economy perk where it did go double red, oversaturated in the market, and the price point stayed the same. And I think that's because it is a base price point of one regional wealth, and it can't go lower than that, right? And technically it's two because we have the perk, but it is still technically the base price point. So I think it cannot go lower than that. And so that's another benefit to this strategy is that you cannot oversaturate them. Like you can sell infinite billions of planks and you'll never go below two regional wealth as far as I understand, right? If that's correct, we'll keep an eye on that too and confirm. But yeah, yeah, is Bill Gates butchered? I got you. Oh my gosh, let's not go there. Daddy Baff, Daddy Baff. Oh, you want to be a gravedigger? I got you. Alright, we'll put you on a gravedigger. Ah, we're flying. Whoops. Alright. There we go. Sun God. You're in. You're a gravedigger. We're going to start getting more frequent and content-filled updates now. That is a good question. That is a very good question. I don't think any of us know. We don't know. We do not know. What's the new meta? This is the new meta. The new meta is the Nike economy, baby. New meta is the Nike economy. And if you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend that you watch the walkthrough VOD. If you haven't yet, check out that Nike economy walkthrough VOD. We're doing kind of a variation of the Nike economy here, where we're doing a butcher version of it instead of the goat Nike economy, but a similar approach here. Did we untick pork in the granary? No. Well, why would we do that? Why would we untick pork in the granary? I'm confused. Build a couple more houses. Why not? Oh, we can actually build them here now. Let's build them while we can before it doesn't let us build again. Yeah, the new meta is playing the way you like to. Yep, that's also accurate, yeah. Ran into a bottleneck in your recent playthrough where you couldn't upgrade the church because no one was exporting dressed stone. No one was exporting dressed stone? What do you mean? Or do you mean no one was importing dressed stone? Like you were trying to import the dressed stone that you needed to upgrade the church and it wasn't getting imported? Yeah, there have been a lot of focus on fixing old systems, but there's also a lot of focus on them constantly introducing random new systems too, so who knows. To sell firewood, not to sell firewood, but to force people only use charcoal instead of firewood, because firewood and a charcoal double duration, etc. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I just, I mean, I guess, yeah, if we, like, really started, like, expanding our town bigger and that became, like, a thing, an issue for us, then yeah, for sure. But right now, I'm kind of just, like, we've got tons of firewood and we're selling tons of firewood and we still have tons of firewood, so I'm kind of not really concerned about it. Charcoal is, kind of, like, dead to me, too, right now, to be honest with you. I'm on a hiatus. Me and Charcoal, we kind of had like a falling out. You know, we're not on good terms right now. Our relationship kind of crumbled. So yeah, I'm you know, me and Charcoal, we're taking a break right now. We're taking a break right now. We're seeing other people. So yeah, I'm gonna steer clear of Charcoal right now. It's kind of bad blood, you know. Untick pork in the granary, so it will not getting consumed by the people, so will only be used by the butcher to make sausages. Oh yes, okay. So actually, that is a good point, but incorrect approach, but correct thought process there. So here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna untick pork in the granary. You don't untick pork in the granary. You untick pork at the marketplace. Right? So we're gonna untick pork at the marketplace. So we're not going to allow them to distribute pork. But you definitely still need them to put pork in the granary. Do not untick pork in the granary. No, 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 no. You untick pork at the marketplace. So, great. That is a great suggestion. Inaccurate approach, I think, but definitely a great suggestion. We'll go ahead and do that. You need to buy a trade route to buy a dressed stone. Very expensive to get it. You're eating fish and chips. This guy, typical Englander over here, huh? What's your local chippy? Got some fish and chips? Oh man, it's classic. It does sound kind of good right now, though. I'm not gonna lie. I could go for some fish and chips right now. But yes, yeah, you do need to buy the trade route to buy the dressed stone. So I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding your question here, but you would need to go. You have a couple options. So you could either, without buying the trade route, you could just, because this is a minor trade item, you could just straight up go import rough stone and then build your own stonemason, this guy, and then you'll convert the rough stone into dressed stone yourself. Or you have the option of going all the way down to the or excuse me, it'll be in the construction tab. Just get the major trade route for dressed stone and just import that directly. So you have a couple options there. Obviously, it's more expensive to invest in the major trade route and a little more expensive to get the dressed stone versus just maybe getting the rough stone and producing it yourself. But yeah, those are basically your options right there. As far as if you are trying to import it and it's not being imported, I'm not exactly sure what that could be caused by. Maybe you did not buy the... Maybe you're trying to import dressed stone as a major trade route and you haven't bought the trade route yet, potentially. I'm not sure. Yeah, really important when you expand. Yes, if you leave your fuel station to go on its own, you might get stuck into overused firewood. Yeah, no, absolutely. Fair point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, charcoal is definitely still good just for like in general, like efficiency of like, fuel for your town and stuff, but yeah, charcoal is dead to me otherwise. I'm I'm in mourning. I'm in mourning about charcoal right now, guys. I'm sorry. Are there any items you can import, then upgrade and convert to sell to profit? That's a good question. Bread was what it was before, and it might still be bread. 14. Yeah, wheat bread is still profitable in that regard, yeah. Because you buy one wheat flour for 14, and you make 4 wheat bread, and you sell that for 5 each, so you sell it for 20. So you can basically make 6 regional wealth profit per wheat flour, right? Import 1 wheat flour for 14, turn that into, but of course you have to have the bakery extension. You turn that into 4 wheat bread, and then you sell it for a total of 20. Or you could go the route where you spend 14 on wheat flour, you turn that into 4 wheat bread, you keep 1 for yourself, and then you sell 3, and then you're making 1 regional wealth profit, but then you're getting basically like very small profit, but then you're getting food for free on top of that. So a couple of options there, but as far as like items that you can import and flip in that regard, I'm not sure if there's anything else other than wheat bread now. Most of the items, I think that the way that they've rebalanced them are basically to prevent that. I don't think there's really many other options in that regard now, to be honest. Yes, chill pill, exactly. Yeah. In short, charcoal is still good for town consumption, not so great for selling. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And to be fair, you could still make an art. You could still sell charcoal, like if you do not use the Nike economy development points, you could still like because then the base price of firewood is just one, and the base price of charcoal is also still one, but you could get double of it. You know what I mean? And you could just sell more of it easily in that regard. You're still selling it for just one, which sucks, but like it's still not a bad idea to just make charcoal and just sell charcoal because you're getting more charcoal than you would firewood, right? So yeah, that's totally still viable. It's just I'm sad about it, and charcoal's dead to me. Okay. So let's see. Let's get back on track here in a sec. So not horrible for yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Still the item to sell to get your very first money coming in. Unless you ever suppose you can sell off. Yeah, I mean if you're not if you're not doing the Nike economy, sure, yeah. If you are doing the Nike economy, don't even bother. Don't even bother charcoal at all. Unless you're building your, unless you need it for your town consumption, yes. But for selling, no. If you're doing the Nike economy, don't even bother selling charcoal. A couple more animal pens that we had here that I forgot about. Get pigs in there. Yep. Yeah, exactly, chill pill. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's really no point in spending the money on the major trade route. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Many import export of food. One has to consider how spoilage eats the profit margin. That's also a good point, Jay Voodoo. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, I really doubt that like if you are importing wheat flour, that by the time you produce the wheat bread and sell the wheat bread, I really doubt that you're gonna have spoilage affect you within that time frame. But it is definitely something to take into consideration for sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to be losing food that you produced and then losing that sale opportunity. Charcoal not worth sweaty wood cutting, deforestation with maintenance on max and woodcutters lodge. Yep, yep. Yeah, only for consumption. I hear you. Love mega cities. Yeah, yeah. No, and once again, mega cities are great too. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, whatever does it, whatever scratches that itch for you guys, that's the best thing. Single player game. So, I do prefer the more kind of smaller, more efficient, tight knit kind of towns. That are focused on one thing or the other, and then I'd rather like expand into another region and then start another town kind of vibe. But that's just my personal preference. Oh, you play with no spoilage. Yeah, gotcha. Pelts, no point keeping, no use. Yeah, only for yes, exactly. Yeah, just sell. If you have pelts, just sell them. And particularly, as we kind of mentioned earlier, once again, I'm not going to repeat myself too much here, but of course, with our Nike economy perk here, you also get the benefit of the hunting hound as well, which if you are utilizing a hunting deposit in your region on top of this, you're also going to be getting additional pelts with the hunting hound on top of the regular pelts you get from regular hunting, and those are also a minor trade item, and those sell pretty well. Pelts actually sell for 3 regional wealth each with the Nike economy perk, which is better than all these other small things that we're selling are only 2 regional wealth each. So pelts for 3 regional wealth each is actually pretty good, right? That's not bad at all. It's just that you're not going to be getting like tons of pelts constantly. You know what I mean? They're a little slower to produce. You know what I mean? It's not that bad when you with this perk and you have the hunting hound and stuff. You do get more of them. It's just you're not going to be producing them like crazy and selling them like crazy. But it's definitely another really good addition to this setup that just synergizes naturally with the setup. So highly recommend that as well. Yeah. Let us turn pelts into leather. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's also, as you said, DZO, that's the other thing too. The small game is also a minor trade item, which you could sell for 3 regional wealth also. So yeah, you could be selling a small game, you could be selling pelts with this perk, and pretty good profits there too, on top of everything else. Yeah. Yeah, and hunting hounds can be used with that. That is also accurate. Yep. Once again, if you guys were here in the beginning, there is a hunting deposit that was in the region. It was actually right here next to our starting town. I purposefully relocated it because I don't want to use the hunting in this playthrough that we're doing for this VOD, live stream or whatever, because I just want to show you the potential and power of this setup even without that, and then hopefully you guys can see that, like, yeah, even just like the bare bones of this setup is very strong, and then it's like you add on the hunting, you add on this, you add on that, then it's like crazy powerful, right? But yeah, we did have a hunting over here that we're just purposely not using, but otherwise, yes, we would be using it. We would also be selling pelts. We'd be, getting farther ahead on just a whole bunch of stuff. So, double check it. I'm still confused with production. I mean, why are we seeing like 1-to-1 numbers here on pork and sausages? That's kind of sketching me out. So I don't. I mean, it is obviously supposed to be 2-to-1. So I mean, it feels like it's 2-to-1 because we're getting a bunch of sausage, right? Let's just keep our eye on this here real quick, I guess, and see what happens when they bring in a few more pork. Here comes a pork. 2 pork. Okay, so they just used one of the pork. I mean, it looked like they used 1 pork and made 2 sausages, right? Let's watch again. All right. They have 1 pork and 1 sausage right here. Here we go. Or 1 pork and 1 salt. They just used 1 pork and 1 salt right there. And we see 2. Okay. Okay, we literally just saw them use 1 pork and 1 pork and 1 salt, and then they produced 2 sausages. We should see this turn into a 4 now. Yeah, okay. So it is okay. So we are seeing 2-to-1. I don't understand why on the records, why are these numbers so close? Why is the sausage number not like double of the pork number? I don't understand. Oh, maybe it's because we had not turned off the pork previously, because we're looking past 12 months. Maybe it'll start to actually be accurate now. Yeah, okay. That must have been what it was. So that was a good point. Yeah, making sure to turn off the pork at the mark. That must be what it was, is that we're consuming some of the pork, right? Instead of turning all of it into sausage. We should be turning all of it into sausage now. So yes, that was a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up again. Let's also let's get a second person on our storehouse and our granary, because we can see here that our capacity was getting into the red. And let's also upgrade, we should have done this a while ago, upgrade our granary as well. Cool. Alright. Did we test? Do hounds give you the food and pelts if the camp has no families assigned? That's a good question. I don't know about that. Maybe someone else can answer that. Hunting always, anyway, sucks now. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I agree, Chill Pill. I had like a food tier video from like earlier this year as well, which some of it's not really accurate anymore because so much has changed. But basically, I remember what I said about the meat or hunting is basically like it's good to a point. Like the hunting caps out like way earlier than most other resources, basically, right? Like the rates of like how fast the animals reproduce is a lot lower than the rate that your villagers will hunt them typically. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe there's been some adjustments there where it's a bit better now. I haven't really tested it too much in the brand new version or whatever. But yeah, typically that's my experience too, is that they can't really keep up, you know. As your town grows, like the hunting just gets less and less valuable. You'll assign a veggie family to a hunting lodge to activate the hound. Oh, see, now that's a really good idea right there. Yeah, so you have your veggie, yes, and then you just assign them to the hunting, where basically they don't really have anything to do other than like walk around with the hunting hound, I guess, right? So that's a really good. I like that, J Voodoo. That's probably the best tech right there. Have like a veggie garden backyard where they're working that plot all the time, but then you assign them to the hunting, and they just do that like kind of automatically without impeding on the other task or any other task. Yeah, that's great. DZO equals Joe in English. Gotcha. Okay. You probably produce and ate a bunch of the pork. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. That's what happened. Yeah, but now we should be good. Now that we turned it off on the market. Yeah. Check the bounce. Now it's even worse. Wait, what's worse? What's worse now? Also, you can hunt year round. Oh, the hunting's worse. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. You can hunt year round, and all other natural food sources only grow in spring. Yeah, that is a good point though too. Yeah, that's a good point. That is definitely one of the benefits of hunting. And typically, like, say if I had like a berry deposit and then I also had like a hunting deposit, I would like let it like regenerate during the spring or whatever, and then like when you get to like winter, then hunt. You know, so you move your family to like harvest berries during the rest of the year, and then have them hunt like during the winter, for example, and then have it regenerate during the other portions of the year, or something like that. So then you have like an even spread of, you know, food coming into the town, sort of thing. That's also a good approach. Yeah, the hunting is, yeah. See, I'm not really, yeah, I've never really been too big on the hunting, but like I said, I think it is a good addition to, like, if you're doing this Nike economy, you know, it's kind of like, why not, you know, good addition to add in there if you have the option to, regardless, you know. Add up a little bit more taxes so we have some treasury ready as we're approaching the new year here. We're going to have the Raiders coming, and we want to be able to take care of them, no problem. But yeah, things are coming along. We're replanting trees all over the place. We're still producing plenty of planks, plenty of firewood, wool, sausages. We are rocking. Economy's looking good. We are now up to 78 sheep and lamb, about 80 sheep and lamb. Really good. I'd say we're pretty much good now on that. Once we come in the winter or something, we'll just stop importing for a little bit. And then we're going to move on to the basically final phase of this setup. And we are going to add in the cobbler's workshop, probably the second butcher, and then the cobbler. And then we are going to start selling those Nikes. And then at that point, guys, it's just buku profits. We're going to be raking in the money from sausages, raking in the money from shoes. We're still making decent profits from other smaller items too. All right, looks like we're done with berries for the season. Adios. Let's produce a couple more tools in the meantime. We have some iron back in the town. Then we import a few more iron, produce a few more tools, stay ahead on that. Everything is just kind of rocking and rolling. This is another thing I really like to, you know, in a lot of my builds too. I really like, you know, kind of, I don't know what the word is, but like, you know, when the towns kind of get to the point of being like self-sustaining and they kind of just operate on their own, you know, you don't really need to like constantly micromanage so much stuff. Like, that's also really good. Looks like we missed a pig pen over here. Get those piggies in. But yeah, just to take another quick look. So what we've been doing, right, just to reiterate here, we started out by selling firewood and planks. Then we started selling wool on top of that once we started importing sheep. And as we can see, the only things that we've been purchasing is we've imported a bunch of sheep, and then we're not going to need to import them really anymore once we get a good size of them and they just passively reproduce by themselves. And we've just been buying a little bit of iron ore to keep up with our tool requirements. And then we started selling sausages. And so we can see, look, our economy is very strong. And things are just going to continue to get even stronger as we're going to stop spending more money on sheep. And we're going to start making more money on selling shoes. So like our profits and everything are just going to skyrocket. So we should have no problem with, you know, if we need to. So say from that point, then it's like, you know, we want to upgrade tier 3 housing or whatever. And we're like, yeah, this region does not have any good fertility where we can do, you know, realistically do like barley farming or whatever. Then, you know, we can just import barley. We'll have the money that we need to import barley, supply our town with ale, you know, get whatever other commodities, approval requirements taken care of. We'll have money to hire mercenaries, protect our town. Side note, we do have an AI opponent here on this map, on this playthrough. And they made a ton of improvements to the AI. Here's the AI town. We're at the end of the second year. Supposedly they made a ton of improvements to the AI town. Yeah, I know Sun God was saying, you know, that you had noticed that the AI towns were also like they came and like tried to claim your territory and you had to fend them off, and they were actually a pretty strong, legit opponent now. So that's really exciting. You know, we're not going to get to the point of probably interacting with the AI too much here, but I just wanted to point out too that you know, that is something that they emphasized in the latest patches or whatever, was huge improvements to the AI. There's one of the guys who's on the team for Manor Lords is that's all he does is AI. They hired him he's a full-time AI programmer. That's all he does. So hopefully we continue to see you know, that continue to improve. But really encouraging, like Sun God was saying. I mean, like he was saying, it was like full on like an actual legit enemy opponent that was like interacting and doing stuff, raiding his town, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, very very encouraging in that regard. Let me catch up on some of your questions here, guys. Sorry. What's the benefit of separating out the sheep pastures? I think we already answered that one a few times. But basically, it's just to get more out of the space. Like these strips of sheep pastures here, we're getting basically 3 times the amount of available pasture space than if we were to only just fill this with a one standard regular pasture space, basically. So you can get more available sheep space by doing the little strips. Regarding hunting hounds, some folk were saying to create 4 camps, have a hound in each. Okay, according to Tactic Cat, hunting is the best base food source for numbers return now. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, obviously Tactic Cat knows what he's talking about. So let's take off our foresters here. We're in winter now. We don't need forestation going on. Max out our mining pit again. And yeah, cool. Once we get out of winter here, we'll probably activate this cobbler shop and then start making shoes. Because we're getting a bunch of sheep here. We'll probably add a couple more pastures because we need a little bit more space. Just like we did before, strips. See, like we get 31 sheep in this little strip. 30. All right, add some more pasture space there. Easy peasy. Cool. Curious why it's called Nike Economy. It's because we sell shoes. Yeah, it's because the economy's the end game kind of biggest like benefit of this economy setup, economic focus, is producing shoes, which are now probably one of the most highly profitable items since the revamped trade values and all that kind of stuff. So on my walkthrough video that I posted the other day for the Newtown startup, it was the strategy involving you know, the goat pens. It's basically this same, we're doing a variation of that same strategy here, basically using pig pens and butchers and stuff instead of goats, but similar approach here. And a lot of people few people in the comments said that it should be called the Nike Economy, and I thought that was great. So we went ahead and stuck with it. Hunting for you is only an option until your veggies and fruits grow. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, see that's kind of what I was. That's kind of how I feel too. I mean, the once you get like the gains, the yields that you'll get from those other options are just going to be massive, right? In comparison, it can never produce enough in big cities. Yeah, yeah. That's right. We're selling the Air Jordans out here, dude. We're making all kinds of money selling Air Jordans. It's all the rage in the medieval towns. It's very desirable. All the neighboring lords and kings, they want they want our brand name shoes. They want the Nikes, and they're willing to pay premium price for them. And we're charging them premium price, baby. We're getting rich. Yeah, so it's going very well. Let's take a look here again real quick just to verify. Let's go past 30 days. Now we're talking, right? See, now we're seeing what we're supposed to be seeing. We're seeing double pork and then double sausage. Okay, so now we're good. That was a fantastic suggestion. Appreciate that. Putting that in the chat. That was really good. Thank you so much. And once again, it's not, do not turn off pork at the granary. You turn off pork at the marketplace. Or like you guys were talking about, if you want to do the same thing for firewood so that you're only using charcoal or whatever. Same thing here. You just go to your marketplace, disable whatever good we're talking about in that regard, and that will solve that. Really good feedback and insight on that. Thank you again. All right, and we've just been taxing, like, I think we bumped it up to 7%. We were taxing 4%. Now we're taxing 7%. But as you can see, we've got good treasury coming in. We're going to be ready for these raiders that are going to come attack our town. Should be no problem at all. Our approval has been more than fine. We're, we got a little taxation, downside there or whatever, but it's not a big deal. Like, we're really not focused on pop growth anyways. We've just been kind of chilling for now. We have about, 24 families. Not feeling like we need, a ton more families for any particular reason for the near future. That being said, we could obviously just continue to expand our town just for the sake of expanding our town. And we could also add maybe, like a joiner shop and start producing war bows, not necessarily for economy, but just for like, we could have like a archer militia available in our town, which could be good, have more of our own troops available, something like that. And obviously we had the shipment come in, so we have the 20 spears or whatever, so we have those guys. But yeah, we're coming into year 3 here. Just plotting a couple more houses. How many pigs are we at? We have 38 pigs, so that means we have 19 pig pens, right? So I don't know, we can make one more and just call it an even 20, but just for your guys' reference of like how many pig pens are we at here for this kind of production chain for these numbers. Looks like we are at 19 pig pens. And you guys can see how many sheep we have, how many pigs we have, all that right here. Alright, so we're within 1 month of the raiders coming to attack our town, so we'll probably buy some mercenaries pretty soon, because they'll might take like some travel time to get over here to our town, and we don't want to fall behind on that. So we'll probably get that going pretty soon here, within the next like week or two. Oh geez, I don't know why the my chat just updated. There's a bunch of messages that I need to catch up on. Sorry. Do the pigs provide passive leather, or where's the leather for the shoes coming from? So yeah, I would definitely make sure you watch the VOD, the walkthrough that I already posted here on the channel. I'll post another link for you here. So the original version of the Nike economy is yeah, so chill. Yeah, I assume some of you guys maybe probably already answered it, but the original Nike economy is using goats, and that's where you're getting the passive hides to leather and whatnot. In this setup, we are using pigs, which only give us pork, which we are using for sausages. And then we're going to add in slaughtering. The butcher's shop is turning the pork into sausages. And then we're also going to use the butcher shop to start slaughtering sheep. And then that's where we're going to get our hides to turn into leather, to turn into shoes, and start selling shoes. So this setup, like I said, it's a bit of a variation on the Nike goat pen setup. The goat pen setup is just like like a one size fits all. You can do that in literally any playthrough. And the other really good thing about it is just like passive. Like you put those goat pens in, and you're just like passively getting hides and milk and meat and whatever, and it's just like super easy. It doesn't scale up necessarily, I guess, as much as like this one has more options where we're also selling the sausages for good profit, and utilizing the sheep, and just has a little higher of a ceiling. I feel like with this variation in the setup. But basically, yeah, it's the base setup would be using the goats. And if you haven't watched the full walkthrough of that, like town setup overview and stuff, highly recommend you check that out. Link the VOD here in the chat. The AI sucks. Gets smashed by raiders. Do max difficulty run without raider and baron to see how they react. Yeah, no, they're definitely not finished, but supposedly the AI is supposed to be a lot more functional now. Yeah, so yeah, Sun God was saying, I mean, he was saying that the AI was like would call in mercenaries to like fight for them and stuff. So yeah. I don't know. I haven't done too much experimenting with like battling against the AI myself yet, so I can't really confirm or deny that, but um Tacticat thought fish were better, but he was corrected by someone else. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest too. I mean, I don't really watch anyone else's content, to be honest with you. So I am obviously aware of Tacticat and a lot of his builds and stuff, but I really try to not watch other similar content creators. Just try to focus on my own thing and not like make comparisons with myself, and just drags my mental health down and stuff like that. To make it best balance, you have to disable camps, raiders, baron. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, the raider camps are like, if you have a bunch of raider camps, then that's almost too easy. And then you can do the speedrun strategy, the cheese strategy. Um, let's see. More capable of defending themselves. Yeah, that was encouraging to hear about that. Yeah. Um, Yeah, we'll probably maybe like for the next live stream, like the second highest voted thing on the poll for this live stream was the like big castle and military combat stuff. So probably next weekend we'll probably maybe do we'll look more into that, maybe try to take on some of the AI towns and get into some more military stuff. So that could be cool too. Um Oh, is that your brother Mahan? I can't read what he said. I don't know what that says. Their mercs is oh they didn't pay. Oh, they didn't pay the merc, so they abandoned. I see. That's hilarious. Merc should not be. Yeah, well they're gonna. They have talked about overhauling the. Oh shoot, we were blabbing there and we forgot to. Speaking of mercenaries, we forgot to get our mercenaries that we need to defend our town here. Hopefully we'll be okay. Let's get this taken care of here in just a sec. Um, yeah, I agree. Yeah, the mercenaries are kind of a bit like cracked right now. They have talked about overhauling the mercenary system, but who knows when that will happen or what exactly it will entail. But yeah, um, yeah, they've been talking about it. Yeah, Merc is the way. Definitely, mercenaries are the most easiest way to deal with military encounters. Typically, yeah, especially early on. Yeah, 7 days till the raid. Thank you. I was I was definitely not paying attention when we were yapping, so we're gonna take care of that right now. Thank you. Let's take a look at the map here. We're in 10 and oh my gosh, how do you come on guys? How is my feeble American brain supposed to what is this? I'm just gonna call it Tannen. Alright, we're over here in Tannen. And, okay, Passweg, Kesselek. Because we want to try to get, we don't want the people that we hire, we don't want them to be, like, super far away. Okay, so none of those are, so Gopsberg, Reiswin, and Lugstadt. Lugstadt, Reiswin, Gopsberg. Okay. And where are they coming from? They're over here in Reiswin, basically, or Lugstadt. Okay. This should be pretty easy then. So let's go ahead and let's just get these guys over here in Luxstat. Oh yeah, look at that. See, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of like dumb, but you know, it's just how the game works, I guess. And you get these guys; they just spawn like right on top of where the bandits are coming from the edge of the map, and then it's like you basically just like don't even need to do anything. What a battle. Yay. Good job, guys. Good job, green caps. That's all we need to do for. Alright. Sick raid. Alright. This is a great channel. The live streams are really fun to watch and discuss. Thank you for doing this. Oh, yeah. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that, Most Smarties. No, that means a lot. I really appreciate you guys being here, engaging in the channel, all that. It definitely means a lot. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. 99% that of the raiders will go for one of the AI villages, not you. Don't worry. Yeah. I guess we didn't need to worry about it anyways because we just... Those mercenaries we hired just spawned in right on top of them, so whatever. It's kind of a silly way that works, but, you know. That's just how the game is right now. Alright, so anyways, we are back in spring, so we're going to go ahead and staff up our forager hut again. We're good on tools for the moment. We made some more tools over the winter from just random bits of iron that we're importing. Get our foresters' huts going again. There we go. Yeah. Alright, so, and we don't need all these people on the salt mine again because we're ahead on salt from the winter. So now we're going to go ahead and get cobbler shop. Boom. And we still need tannery. So we can just put tannery right here. That's fine. Okay, so... And we're gonna get a second butcher shop. So we have our second butcher shop we have our current butcher shop. I just want to leave them on sausages only. And then we have our second butcher shop coming in, which will be focused on slaughtering. And then we have our cobbler coming in, which will make the shoes. And we have the tannery, which will, you know, convert the hides into leather that we need for the shoes. But at this point, we have about how many? Like over 100 sheep and lambs. So we should be producing a decent amount. Or we should have a decent amount of livestock now that we can start slaughtering some here and there and still keep up with some passive reproduction in the meantime. Tannenweghost. Gotcha. That's my best attempt. Thanks for the stream and the content. Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear it, guys. Thank you. That means a lot, guys. Really, really, really appreciate it. Yeah, we just made a nice plus 350 sale. You saw that? That was great. Yeah. So look at that, dude. He just came and bought 50 sausages for 350 wealth, just like that. Boom. Look at that. Massive, massive gains. Massive gains right here. And here goes our guys. Go on, class. Go on, Hans. Sell, sell, sell. Make us rich. Make us rich, class. Make us rich, Hans. Here, one of these guys has got to be, J Voodoo. Alright, J Voodoo. Make us rich, baby. You better make us rich. Alright, who wants to be the other trader? Alright. J Voodoo and Renshira, you guys better make us rich, otherwise it's your fault, okay? Oh, pressure's on. Pressure's on. We're going to be monitoring your guys' productivity very carefully moving forward, okay? No excuses. J Voodoo, Renshura, okay? Cracking the whip. Hehe. Yesterday in your game, raiders spawned an AI village called in mercenaries at the same spot, and they fought outside the map. Yeah, that is kind of a weird one. Yeah, I think they need to adjust something there to make it, like, you know, less potential that you can just take care of, you know, you just spawn right on top of the battle, like on the edge of the map, and it's just, yeah. That's right. All right, Renshiro, we're counting on you. We're counting on you. Come through for us. Come through for us. Okay, there we go. Cobbler shop is up. Tannery is up. Oh, we also, here's a side note too, guys. I also wanted to point this out for the for our Nike Economy 2.0 setup here. We also have another affinity. The woodland affinity is just really good for us here, right? Because we're already getting a big bonus out of this one for the pigs. We are also getting a bonus from the teaming because we have the berry deposit, and we're getting more berry deposit opportunity, more yield opportunity with that. Or if we had mushrooms, berries or mushrooms would be the same thing. And if we were using the wild animal deposit, that would also get an additional benefit to that also. And then we furthermore have this bark gathering, which gives us a yield increase proportional to the woodland environment. So we are getting very strong use out of all three of these affinity bonuses now from the woodland affinity. And we have a strong amount of the woodland affinity, 63%. And we've been replanting trees at our foresters' huts, and we're increasing the woodland effect throughout the land here. We're just gonna keep like telling them to replant trees like all over the place basically, and just more trees the better in our region here. And we just keep upping that woodland environment and keep upping the affinity bonuses. And so we're getting a bonus, like I said, bonus to the pigs, bonus to the foraged goods and wild animals if we were using that as well, on top of our Vokland perk. And we're also getting a bonus to the tannery production for our leather, which will be put into shoes. So we've got like all of this is synergizing right now. You guys see what I'm saying? Like that's where this setup is so good, you know, because it's like you've got all these bonuses that are synergizing with each other and like building blocks, you know, on one on top of the other, and it just kind of exponentially gets better and better. So we'll go ahead and staff up our tannery. Now we will go here. And what we want to make sure we set a reserve, right? We don't want to be slaughtering. This is in the original version of this beta, they forgot to put in the reserves, which was horrible, and the butchers were just going slaughter crazy. So now, this being said, guys, I don't know exactly, like, what's the most efficient, like, reserve number to put on here. How many specific number of sheep do you need to, like, constantly regrow at the same rate that you're slaughtering them, and all those details. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry, I can't really speak on that. As you guys can see, I'm just going to set a, a reserve of, like, 40 for each sheep and lambs right now and see how that goes. If you guys have more information on that, definitely post that in here or on the channel or wherever, and love to, get more insight on that. But also at the same time, like I said, for now, I really don't want to focus too much on those like nitty gritty numbered details and stuff, because so much of those numbers and details are in a fluid state of change currently. There's a very high chance that we do all this research and be like, oh, well, you want to have 220 sheep and make sure you have a reserve number of 43, and then that way you'll get 0.08, return on your yield, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, then they come out 2 days later with another patch and change all that. You know what I mean? So we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to go down that road. But we are going to show, at least, like, the point here is to show, like, how this works. How does this all work? How do all the bonuses synergize? What's the production chains that I need? What's the setup that I need, right? That's the main point here. Once again, if you guys have more information on that, or maybe you've seen someone post about it on Reddit or whatever, definitely feel free to share that. It's good information to know. Confirm how you saw the Baron spawn. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, he's fascination with medieval combat, weapons and armor. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I think that the militia system is one of the coolest aspects of the game too. I totally agree with you on that. And kind of the mercenary system kind of, negates that to a certain extent, right? So, definitely agree with you on that. As we can see here, guys, see we're slaughtering sheep. We got hides, or we already got leather coming in. We got shoes coming in. Here we go. So here comes our Nike economy is starting to really ramp up, guys. There we go. We're going to be making big time profits very soon. Regarding the bark affinity, one goat yields every 49 days. So let's say 7 per year. The bark should make that 10 per goat. So one goat should keep 10 level 3 families and shoes. Oh, okay. There you go. But they don't. Oh, see? Well, there you see. That's the... right, that's the thing, It's like, ugh. You're missing the fact that goat pens are not affected by any affinities or bonuses. That is... Right, yeah, but the tannery does. Yeah, right. Love it. Hey, what's up, Toeman G? Loving the new patch. Keep up the great videos. Hey, thank you so much, dude. Honestly, really appreciate, all the, the nice comments, the engagements, the discussions, the constructive feedback. I mean, everything. I know I maybe sound like a broken record, but I'm just a small time peasant, essentially, just like you guys, and I'm just trying to make my channel the best as possible and present information the best as possible and stuff. So I really genuinely appreciate all those comments and feedback and positivity and everything, guys. It means a lot. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you guys continue here on the channel and we'll keep growing, I have a lot of side note. I'm just a quick note on plans for assuming that, maybe this patch does come out within the week or whatever, like Darren mentioned, unofficially. Plans after the current patch officially releases, so like the coming week or, very soon. Like I mentioned, the farming setup with the apiaries and stuff, that's definitely on the radar. I also want to make I'll probably make a reformatted Nike economy guide that just kind of shows some additions to the setup, some additional tips and information, and kind of presents things in a little bit more easier to understand sort of way, and also shows maybe the different variations that you can use in the Nike economy, more of a branded Nike economy sort of official video. Then also a series. I know I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video, and probably quite a few of you, I think, maybe voted for the series on the poll that we had, weekly poll. By the way, on the channel here, I typically will post a couple days before each Sunday or before the weekend live stream. I'll typically post a poll here on the channel and let you guys vote on what do you want to see focused on for the live stream this weekend. The butcher's production chain got voted the most for this week. Obviously, that's why we're doing this. But military and combat engagements was a close second. There was also a series on there, which quite a few of you probably voted for the series. I definitely want to do a series. That will definitely, once the patch is officially released, I definitely want to do a series, maybe a 2 or 3 part series, and it'll basically just be all encompassing total victory and map domination, either against the AI and or the Baron, depending on the state of the enemy AI and stuff like that. But so it'll have, that one will just kind of be a little bit of everything, making a solid town, economy, food production, military, influence, map expansion, pop expansion, everything. So that one we'll probably, I want to have a series coming. But these are all just kind of mentioning stuff that I have on the radar for the upcoming content in the near future here. And as always, let me know if you guys have any suggestions too, feedback, all that kind of stuff. Always very open to hearing your guys' input on that too. But yeah, look, we got a good amount of leather coming in. We are definitely producing shoes. Look at that, dude. We are going to be rich. We're already kind of rich, and we're just going to keep getting richer. And at this point, I mean, honestly, as you guys can tell, I mean, at this point, we're just kind of coasting now. You know what I mean? We could add more housing. We could add whatever. We could upgrade housing. We could start importing barley, supplying ale. We could, you know, import the materials that we need to upgrade our church. You know, there's like a bunch of stuff that we could be doing right now. You know, we do have this like clay mine that's like crazy far away over here. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of options at our disposal here. Also, I wanted to know here, this is something we mentioned earlier, due to the fact that like these items, these minor trade items that are selling for 2 regional wealth, they have a base price of 1, which means it can't go lower than 1. And since we're using this the Nike economy perk, it makes it 2. But technically, that's still the lowest, the base price, so it can't go lower than 2. So even though we're like, we've already sold way too many planks and we're oversaturated market on planks, we're still selling them for the same price. It cannot go below 2. So that's another little benefit to this Nike economy too. It's like these minor trade items, there's no possibility of overselling them and getting a lower rate. Like we're already at the highest level of saturation, and as you can see, we're still selling them for 2. So that's another little benefit here that I wanted to point out. And I know Jay Voodoo brought that up earlier in the stream. That was a really good point. Does not increase how much leather you make for one. Just how fast the tannery process it. Let's see. Tannery yield increased proportional to the woodland environment. That's a little vague. Yeah, that's a little vague there, so it's hard to say. Yeah, I'm not really sure if that means like there's a chance for it to like yield an extra one or what. I'm not really sure. Like the wording there is not clear, obviously, so I'm not really sure. All I know is I better be getting some kind of benefit, right? Act in proper Manor Lords fashion. Do combat focus stream. After... Oh my gosh, there you go, yeah. If I was... Now, yeah, exactly. If I was Greg, I would present you guys with a poll, and then you guys would be like, yeah, I want butchers in the stream, and then I would be like, ha! Joke's on you guys. I'm doing something completely different. Suckers. Yep. Show consumption for Berks. 3s, 1 per year. For your time in shoes, are you guys talking about shoes consumption? For level 3 purchases? Shoes are consumed 1 per year per level. Interesting. Yeah, another look at the resource report for sure. Consumption numbers show the 2 times multiplier. Another look at the resource report. You're curious if the consumption numbers show the 2 times multiplier. Oh, for the sausages, I assume you mean. So, I mean, I guess it's not. We're not actually double here. I don't know. I assume that means we have some pork. Yeah, we have some pork that just hasn't been converted yet. But say 28, 34. Oh, I guess it shows consumption here too, right? So... okay, yeah, well, huh, interesting, yeah. So why are we still showing pork getting consumed then, though, right? That is a weird one. I mean, they're definitely not stocking pork. I'm a little confused why we have pork consumption on there at this point. Huh. Probably consumed in the making of sausages. Maybe it counts as being consumed when they get used for production. Right? I mean, that's the only logical thing that makes sense, right? So what's 22 times 2? 22 times 2 would be 44, right? So 39 plus 7, 39. 44, 39. I mean, I guess that kind of adds up then, right? Because if we've used 22 porks to make 44 sausages, we're showing 39 here. I mean, that's... I don't know. I guess it's pretty much adding up, right? Pork consumption versus sausage production. We'll give 2 times. Oh, right. Yeah, right. So it should... Right. So basically, consumption is registering as production, right? Or vice versa. Production is registering as consumption. Or should be, right? Click on Marketplace and hover over foods. See if that is listed as one of their foods. Yeah, we don't see pork anywhere at... There's definitely... like, our advanced settings here are working. I mean, we're definitely not... There is no pork at the market and no pork being supplied to the houses, that's for sure. But maybe they'll just go grab it from the granary sometimes regardless, yeah.
Step right up and sample.
Right, consumption is just any kind of consumption, so also counts as production too. Okay. I mean, it looks like it is pretty much adding up. A little wonky maybe, but... Alright, we got a bunch of shoes. Let's sell these shoes, guys. We are about to get rich. Export. Oh, we gotta get the trade route, of course. Export. We don't need any... I don't know, let's just keep like 5 shoes around, I guess, just in case we want to upgrade, try to upgrade a couple houses. Because let's go ahead and let's just get a couple of houses upgraded to tier 3 here before we get towards wrapping up for today. And let's take a look at some of the, like we were talking about. I saw some discussion about like shoes consumption and stuff, some confusion between the patch notes and whatnot. So maybe we can take a quick look at that here too, since we are now producing shoes and should be able to upgrade our houses pretty soon. If we just need to import some... I don't know how feasible. I mean, we could definitely make clothing, no problem, because we can just make yarn and clothes. We can upgrade the church. We can import stuff for beverage. It's this one right here, animal produce and fruits, because we never made an orchard. But you know, typically by this point, I would probably have had like a something like right here, you know, like a large orchard or something. I guess if we really wanted to get crazy, we just fill up this whole thing. But, you know, whatever. Maybe we won't necessarily get to that point today, I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys can see, I mean, basically we've reached the, you know, the final stage of this setup here. Hopefully you guys can see how everything's coming together and synergizing. We're also now getting a bunch of mutton too, of course, side note, right? Where we're also, so we could also at this point, so since this is another thing where we could make an adjustment. So now we could let's turn off sausages. Let's not sell pork or sausage, because now we have plenty of mutton, which will fulfill the meat requirement, and we'd rather just supply our peasants with crappy mutton. And we don't need to give them the good stuff. We don't need to give them the primo sausages, and instead we just sell more sausages. So more profit, use the mutton to feed the peasants. And yeah, we're just rolling in. See, leather's constantly coming in. Shoes are so yeah. I mean, once again, I just set the surplus of 40 and 40, right? 40 sheep, 40 lambs, and we're just kind of letting the passive reproduction do its thing. And yeah, seems to be rolling pretty well here. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this setup here. I think it's really good. We're like halfway through year 3, and like our town is like totally solid. We have everything we need. We're rich, both in treasury and regional wealth. We're going to continue to get even more rich. We just added shoes to our trade here, so we're going to be like making crazy profit now. Yeah, very, very strong. And just for kicks here, we have, what was it, 19 goat pens, right? Or pig pens? We have 19 pig pens. So let's take a look. Like, how much pork are we producing in a month? Like 28 pork? 266 pork a year, roughly. Right, so, and we have 19, almost 20 pig pens. I'm not sure if that, like the past year, I think maybe we added a few more pig pens, so that might not be like the full max number. But, you know, those are strong numbers. And then, of course, we double that, essentially, right? So, in the past 12 months, I mean, basically we made enough pork to make like 500 sausages or more, something like that. You know what I mean? And then you do, what's 500 times 7? 500 times 7. I mean, that's 3,500 regional wealth worth of sausages, essentially, that we're making per year with this setup, roughly. Just doing some quick rough maths there. Yeah, thank you, Bath. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support, guys. Yeah, if you guys go and I gotta get a little better about. I know some of you guys have mentioned. Sometimes I think I kind of undersell myself. I really don't like the the whole vibe of like when you watch a video and they're just like, yo, make sure you go subscribe, make sure you go like donate to my channel and do all this stuff. I kind of don't really like that vibe, but also I guess some people have been pointing out I might be selling myself short a little bit. So yeah, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. You guys know the drill. But yeah, guys, we're let's see, we're about 3 hours in here. We'll probably wrap it up pretty soon, guys. We'll probably wrap this up pretty soon because we have got pretty much to the final stage, like I said, of this build here. It would just be kind of continuing to, at this point, we would just be like getting the stuff that we need to upgrade to tier 3, continue to grow the town, etc., right? Maybe, like I said, produce some war bows, so then we, or some other military equipment, whatever, like expand our militia. We've got a bunch of treasury. We could go and, like, buy some more retinue soldiers, There we go. Now we've got, like, a full retinue. That's cool. So, yeah. A few really cool things. Oh, now we're bugged on pause. Nope, can't unpause the game now. Well, maybe that's the sign for the stopping point, huh? Oh, my gosh. All right, well. I think that might be the sign. We are bugged on pause now. Yeah. We could probably like save and reload it or whatever, but I'm thinking that might be the sign for us to call it here, guys. We did a lot here. We had a great stream, and we got a really strong setup here, and I really hope that everything made sense for you guys. As you can see, we've got just a steady flow, steady production of the sausages, steady economy going. I mean, everything is just really rocking and rolling here in this town, and we're set up for expansion. We're set up for success. We're set up in every way possible. Yeah, you have an idea for the combat challenge? Do it without mercs. Yeah, I've definitely thought about that. Doing a like a military challenge run where you basically only are allowed to use militia. That would be cool one too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree, Jay Voodoo. I would say though, with sausages in particular though, sausages have like pretty much, I think, the lowest spoilage rate of like any food item. So I don't think that you're gonna run into any spoilage of sausages in particular. For like selling sausages, I really don't think you're gonna run into any spoilage in the sausage department, specifically. The spoilage of the sausages is just really low. That's the whole point of the salt, right? Making the salt with the pork. That's gives it the shelf life or whatever, right? But yeah, I do. Just in general, though, definitely it's always good if you're using food for like a profit item. It's definitely good to always keep in consideration, like spoilage could cut into your profits. Also, a quick note, guys, on one last thing I wanted to note for the Nike economy here. Another great addition is last thing before we wrap up here In the food category, if we take a look here at carrots, so carrots have a base export value of 3, and with the Nike Economy perk, it goes up to 5. So that is pretty crazy, right? So that being said, the perk, as we know, does decrease our agricultural efficiency, which includes vegetable garden backyards have a 25% reduced efficiency, which kind of sucks. But that being said, like, you know, I still think it's worth it if you were to put in a couple large vegetable backyard gardens and you just pretty much just produce the carrots just to sell. Like, you could easily have a couple backyard vegetable gardens that pump out, you know, a couple hundred carrots per year or whatever, even with the 25% reduction, and at 5 regional wealth per carrot that you're selling. I mean, you're still going to be making really, really, really strong profits just from selling carrots. And you know, so I just wanted to point out that this is another really strong addition to this Nike economy. If you wanted to also expand on it further, even further, you could go ahead and add a couple vegetable gardens. You should have no problem with labor being available, like, you know, expanding the town and stuff shouldn't be a problem. Add a couple veggie gardens and sell carrots. You're going to make even more buku profits. So, you know, we're talking carrots at 5, shoes at 7, and sausages at 7. Those are all very high ticket items. And then all your other base items cannot go lower than 2. So, you know, it's just kind of a strong setup overall, in my opinion. And we've had 2 people at the trading post, 2 horses here, kind of doing all the work for our economy. This is our all-time records here. As we can see, we made good profit. We spent a bunch, you know, on getting those sheep into the town. But then, as we can see, it's going to start paying off. We haven't made any. You know, we just unlocked the, we just started selling shoes, so, you know, we don't see any shoe profits in here. But if we let this sim for another, you know, year or whatever, we would see a couple thousand coming in from shoes probably on top of that, and we would really be cranking, you know what I mean? Pears also a good thing to sell. Are they? Let's see. I just don't think they're not a minor, but yeah, they're not a minor. That's the thing. What I'm looking at here specifically are is that the carrots are in the minor trade category, so we're getting that boost on the value from 3 to 5. That's what I'm particularly looking at. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, sure, sell pears in general, yes. But what I'm saying is that I wouldn't consider to be like a specific addition to the Nike economy necessarily, but the carrots would, because that does scale with the perk that we're using as well. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, and GG, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for that. No worries, guys. Yeah. Spoilers maybe has changed. Will always be 1 for each group of food. More so with high rate items. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What do you mean by spoilers will always be 1? What does that mean? Like 1 per month or something? Yeah. Oh yeah. Good point. Yeah, good point on the pears there, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Each house of pork, the pork stack at the granary, pork at the butcher, sausages at the burger granary. Will always be 1 for each group of food. Maybe if you maybe post more about that in the Discord or something, if you don't mind, Voodoo, because I'm not really understanding so far, but I definitely want to understand. But yeah, we'll wrap it up here, guys. Yeah, yeah, not too bothered about making a great economy, where you don't even buy anything. Have to be fertile and rich iron, yeah, and then anything. I know that's your go-to, dude. Yeah, fertile land, rich iron. You can't go wrong, honestly, especially now at this point. Like, crazy good. Yeah, that's another decent challenge run idea too. You kind of, you know, forego the trade for a lot of parts too. Yeah. Tollman G, appreciate it. Have a great day. Yeah, same to you guys. We're gonna wrap it up here, and I hope you guys have had, you know, a great weekend so far. And you know, if you guys still have some of your Sunday left here, I hope you have a great day ahead of you. And if not, I hope you have a good week coming up here, guys. And like I said, hopefully it sounds like there's definitely a potential for the patch to actually release this week. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath, but regardless, we'll be having more content. Like I mentioned, some of the stuff we're planning on. But as always, feel free to give me feedback and ideas here on the channel. We'll have another poll before the next weekend for the upcoming stream, probably, or I might just go with what was second for this week's poll, which was the military and combat stuff. I know a lot of people are pretty interested in that, so we'll probably, we might just go with that. But yeah, more content, more, all that kind of stuff here on the channel. Make sure you guys are dialed in, and I really hope to see you guys in there for all that kind of stuff. Join the Discord if you guys are interested. Got a little gaming community Discord or whatever. I try to keep a lot of this stuff, more like centralized on YouTube, but I'm definitely active, in the Discord, and I got a like decent little community on there or whatever too. If anyone wants to hop in there, we have another Manor Lords channel in there too, and can share other games or whatever. Yeah, heck yeah. So thank you guys, appreciate it. Absolutely, yeah. Hope you guys have a great afternoon as well. Appreciate it. And yeah, GG's guys. All right, Manor Lords, we are out. That's gonna be it. We are leaving our mark here on Tannenwegholz. GG. All right, guys. 07. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, y'all.